Well, welcome everybody. This is Michael Silvers, Vice President of the Los Angeles Tribune. Give yourselves a thunderous round of applause. I can tell you, sometimes when you do these kind of things, you're really looking to get out there and meet a lot of people. Well, today is a day of peace. Today is really about us bringing the world to a place that it could just take a breath for a moment. But it means many different things. It could be within your own family, within your own system. It could be something at business today. It means something different to everybody, and we're there for everybody. We want to thank everybody to be here today. We have amazing speakers today. There's only going to be several because it's all about movements that they've created in peace movements. And today is all about Jane Goodall and what she's created. And the Roots and Shoots, the Children International Organization. Here's the exciting news. First of all, take this feed. I'm going to go off here. I'm going to bring my hosts up in a second. And then at the same time, what's going to happen, and the amazing part about this is then you're going to hear from amazing speaker Jane herself. You're going to hear from Aaron Combs from Roots and Shoots. You're going to hear from Adam Roa, Finish the Day, who's known internationally. His video has gone to hundreds of millions of people and bring it all together. Donese Worden. It just goes on and on and on. But for you to share this with other people, that's how they're going to learn what this is. That's how they're going to know that this is the place they want to be. But here's the exciting part. And my team is going to put this eventually into the comments. Tomorrow, we're actually going to be live at the park with Jane Goodall. So tomorrow at Point Furman Park in San Pedro, if you can come at 10 a.m., we have the Roots and Shoots. It's about the children, the kids. We'll be doing a red carpet. We'll be interviewing. We'll be bringing people out there and really creating that movement. And then at 2:30, live with all of us, will be Jane Goodall. And that's tomorrow. So for those of you that can't make it, we're going to be broadcasting it. For those of you that can, be there and join us. Join in the day of peace. Join. And remember, again, somebody did that so there we go. Post it in the comments. There's the event. Show up. Come to our booth. Introduce yourself. I will be there. And the whole team will be there. And we're looking forward to that. So without any further ado, because it's an amazing day, I'm going to pop up my co-host. Go ahead. For those of you who can, just bring yourself up with me. And there we go. There we go. Everybody come on up. Come on up. There we go. Welcome. Welcome, co-host. How are you guys doing today?
Awesome.
Awesome.
Fabulous.
Awesome. The great thing about it is the people that we get to work with, right? So it's never about us. Everybody write this down out there. Be of service. Be of service every single day. So I'm just going to go around the horn and just let me know what you're excited about today and why you're even here. And I'll start. I just go right to left. It's funny. I'm left-handed, but I still go right to left. Karen.
As I've learned more about Jane Goodall, I was just so impressed with the way that she involves the children in doing projects in different communities and the way that she inspires people to have hope. And she says, sometimes we feel like, oh, it's such a big problem. What can we do? Well, just find one little thing that you can do and do something. And I appreciate that, because if all of us do something, we add to the collective and we increase the hope. We increase the peace in the world.
Yeah, that's the great thing is we really do. And sometimes it just starts in your own home. Sometimes it starts in your own heart, right? It starts with where we are. So everybody listening to this, by the way, not only do you want to be sharing this with everybody sending them the link, sending them the Facebook group, getting it out there, and comment all day long. We'll be watching the comments. If we can't address them, we'll make sure we touch them towards the end. Or we have the live event tomorrow where I'll be talking live, and then we'll be having Jane Goodall, and we'll take those comments and we'll say, oh, somebody asked this and this yesterday. It's going to be, remember, this is interaction. We're a community, and a community talks to itself and works with itself, and we solve things and we get it done every single day. Look at our first comment from the Philippines. I love the outfit, Dr. Lisa. Dr. Lisa, tell us about how you feel today.
Oh, I am just so excited to be here with you all and all the friends and family tuning in at home. I brought a very special friend with me today. His name's Bongo, and he's a chimpanzee. And Bongo has been teaching me how to speak chimpanzee. Would you like to hear it? It sounds like this. Okay, here I go, Bongo. And as Dr. Jane Goodall would say, this is the voice of the animal kingdom that we want to bring to this show. So I'm so happy that Bongo can join us today, and I'm excited for what's about to happen.
Thank you. Everybody give Dr. Lisa a thunderous round of applause. And it's a great thing too. And Dr. Lisa, the great thing is people are commenting. And so for those of you out there too, what's really awesome is where are you commenting from? Go ahead and put, what country, what city, whatever you want to do. Somebody once put the planet. I'm like, that's fantastic. Which planet, right? You got to nail these things down. So, all right. Alicia is part of our amazing team.
Hello, everyone tuning in from all around the world. We're just so delighted to be here with you all to celebrate the International Day of Peace. Peace comes in many forms. It's a contribution to society, taking care of society from an environmental perspective, but peace also comes within. When there's a lack of internal conflict, we can be more radiant in the world and share in a peaceful world. So we're just delighted to have all of you tuning in. As Michael mentioned earlier in our team in the chat, we are going to be with Jane Goodall and Roots and Shoots tomorrow, and we're going to be with the children. And it's so important, the work that Jane Goodall is doing as she works with children to really help them understand what it means to be environmentally conscious, to create spaces for them to actually contribute to the world so they can grow up with that experience and contribute to the world. So we have a fantastic lineup of speakers that are joining us today, and they're going to be talking about peace from all different kinds of perspectives, because peace it's multifaceted. And so we're just delighted that you are here today. I'm going to hand it back to Michael as we get ready to introduce our next guest, but please comment, and also please contribute and comment and share how you are contributing to a more peaceful world. We really want to know how you all are contributing to world peace. Back to you, Michael.
Oh, fantastic. It's great because it is about that. It starts, a movement always starts, right? It starts somewhere. And there's a lot of movements around this, and we're going to be doing more on this. So everybody knows it's really just sometimes about bringing, because there's also, we sometimes talk about being kind, right? There's all of that. And because we're working a lot with the children, we have a lot of announcements we'll be doing over the next couple months working with children. It's very much part of the Tribune's mission is to start with the next generation and right. And there's a couple grandparents right here. And it really is about that next generation and what they're coming into and what it's going to look like. That will make such a difference every single day. And I do love that Parisa Rose is not only coming from Los Angeles, but planet Earth. I love it that you nailed that down, Parisa. You're the best. And we're going to have amazing people with us tomorrow. We're going to have influencers with us. We're going to have just people with us at the Tribune who are making a difference, and they'll be live at the park with Jane Goodall, and you definitely want to make sure that you come there. It's Point Furman Park in San Pedro. We'll post it again with the event. The event is about children. It's about Jane Goodall's Roots and Shoots. There it is. Jane Goodall's Roots and Shoots organization, and that's all this is about. And we'll go around the horn just one more time, and then we're going to hear from Jane Goodall. But as we do this, by the way, everybody, we're coming in from lots of different areas. Okay, we're a remote team who brings in people remotely. So once in a while, something might not work. So when something doesn't work, first of all, you go, yay, the universe is right with us. It will be corrected and will get us going, right? Videos don't play. Somebody calls in from London or Phuket, wherever it is, and if the internet's not quite working, we just go with it because it's about the enhancement and enrichment of our audience. It's about bringing information. And if they have a really noisy background, oh, fantastic. If they're coming from the middle of a rainforest, even better. So it's all to how we bring the information to you so you can hear it, understand it, and it makes a difference every single day. And it's just a great place to be. So one more time around the horn before we start, we have a wonderful message from Jane Goodall, and we really kick into this. Just one word, how you feel today. I'm going to go backwards this time. I'm going to go actually up and down, up and down. Lisa.
Magical. Magical.
Magical. There you go. Let it land, everybody. Karen.
Celebration.
Celebration. Alicia.
I'm going to go with inspired. I'm very, very inspired. Roots and Shoots worked with youth, and they work with youth to acknowledge and identify issues in their communities and come up with solutions. And they contribute by, working on social justice and community development, promoting animal welfare, taking care of the environment. But that's inspired action. It's actually taking action to make a change in the world. So inspired.
I love it. I love it. And I'm going to say family today, because to me, it's really about the family. It's about us doing this together. It's about how we are with each other and how we start it right there, one person at a time. We have a big mission at the Tribune. We already go out to over 23 countries. We know, and we also know that we'll be bringing this to you in many different languages, because that's really important, but we're going to do this together. So with that being said, it's an amazing that we get the message from Jane herself. Thank you, everybody who helped put this together. Thank you, Lisa Tan, for just driving this thing to make sure this happened. And that was awesome from us at the Tribune and being part of our team and family. And the biggest part about this is share this. So right now, we're going to play a commercial. And it's not a commercial. It's just going to show about the Tribune and be nice music and all of that. And then we have Jane. But that gives you the moment to share this with other people. Take your Facebook, take your LinkedIn, take your X, whatever it is, your Twitch, and share it with everybody else out there, because you're making a difference in the world. I see people typing in from the Philippines right now. I see people typing in from lots of other amazing countries, right? And again, wherever else you're coming in from, let us know. And it's the day to take a breath, be together, have a lot of fun. You're an amazing team, and we're doing this together, and we're going to go to commercial. And why we say commercial, it's not a break. A break means don't leave anywhere, because we're going to go 3 hours today. And then you get to be with us again tomorrow, live from the park. And we'll take comments, and we'll be talking and chatting and having fun and playing with the kids and be part of that. All right, Alicia, take it away.
Hello and welcome to the Los Angeles Tribune. Since 1886, our name has been a part of the world of journalism. We have earned a reputation for being a publication that practices integrity, authenticity, and responsibility. For general inquiries, contact today. Thank you on behalf of the Los Angeles Tribune Team. Hello and welcome to the Los Angeles Tribune.
Well, hello everyone. I wanted to welcome you back. Being the show today has been, it's creating a difference in the world. And when you look at a day of peace and you look at everybody that we're going to have on today, it's really exciting because you saw the video from Jane Goodall and you know what she's created. We always love stories. So I think it was 1995 at my son's little school up here in Washington State. And Jane Goodall came and she talked at the school. He'll never forget it. It changed his life of how he looks at the environment and people around him, and how important the impact of primates and animals and people, and just everything, right? We're one team, one family, one community, and we're making a better world. And now that I have grandkids, everybody knows, it's what are we leaving? And what's that legacy? And if you talk about a legacy, you look at what Jane Goodall has done, because from when I was a kid to watch the shows on TV, to see the change, it has made everything so different. And Jane, of course, has this huge move towards children and the next generation. So I'd like to introduce everybody today. I have Erin McCombs on from Jane Goodall's Roots and Shoots Foundation. And it's brilliant what they're doing, but I could tell you about it, or I'm going to let her tell you a little bit about herself, the organization, and then Erin and I will just have a conversation. And for those of you watching this, know too, it's live, which means comments in the box. Keep adding and sharing, and we'll answer questions at the end. I'll let Erin go, and then I'll take any questions you might have. Erin, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Absolutely, Michael. Thanks so much for having me on today. So I wanted to start by telling you a little bit about Roots and Shoots. Roots and Shoots is a program of the Jane Goodall Institute. It's a youth action program. So we've got change makers all across the world that are working to build change within their own community through service projects. So these kids develop these service projects that benefit either people, animals, or the environment. And these service projects are really driving change within their own communities. So my role is our Los Angeles-based camp coordinator. So I'm based right here in LA, working with all of the LA-based Roots and Shoots change makers to help improve our community here in Los Angeles.
I love it. And what is, if you look at the organization as a whole, what is really that their mission statement? How are they going to change the planet?
Yeah, so we're working through these service projects. So it's a really grassroots movement. So kids examine their neighborhood, their community, figure out what the needs are within that immediate community, and they're able to build these service projects based on those needs. So Roots and Shoots can look 1,000 different ways based on these individual communities, the passions of these individual kids. And because of that, we see a lot of creativity, a lot of innovation, and we're able to see these projects that are really making a difference. So everything from, on-campus thrift stores so that kids have access to this recycled clothing. We've got kids that are building community libraries. We've got kids that are developing environmental education programs to reach out to their local elementary schools. All these different forms of these projects that are making big impacts right here in our community.
The great thing about that is it's community based. You're a worldwide organization, and you do these, but it's the community based because you really can get into the community and you can help from that, as you said, the ground roots. I mean, that makes a huge difference as you do this. And so can you give an example? This question always comes up, an example of some of the service projects. I know you talked about but some of the ones happening locally as LA as it gets kicked off. Also, can you give us an example of something happening in another country?
Yeah, so let me start with one here, and we'll talk about the greater LA area. So we've got a park in Huntington Beach, and this family has been, fiercely committed to this park through Roots and Shoots, and they have done a lot of great work with this park. They've cleaned it up, they've removed invasive plants, they've planted native species, and they've actually teamed up with another Roots and Shoots group in the area so that they're able to have these really big park cleanup days, bringing these two Roots and Shoots groups together to work together. And that's one of the things that we really love about this LA base camp, is that by having, me here in LA and having this long history of Roots and Shoots in LA, we're able to have this community and kind of multiply our efforts by working together and, building a community of Roots and Shoots change makers right here in LA.
Wow. So it's such an awesome for that community. And what about, on a worldwide basis, what's a project that is a little different or just something around the world? Just give them a little flavor.
Yeah. So like I said, there's Roots and Shoots groups all across the globe. And again, because I'm based in LA, I think a lot of my focus is here on LA. So I'll grab an example. We have an LA group that has recently developed a pen pal relationship with a group in Japan. So they're sending video messages back and forth. And from that group, we've learned that the area in Japan they're in has a lot of shelter animals. And so they've been working with shelter animals to help improve the conditions for those shelter animals. So, whether it's, making toys for them, that sort of thing. So they're working with those shelter animals to kind of improve their experience while they're in the shelter before they get adopted.
Oh, I love it. That's great. It's such a, because that's becoming the community. That's kids able to talk to, with the internet and everything we have now, it's easier to make that communication, but you're doing it on a very positive note.
Exactly. And it's great for them to see that the problems that exist, here in their community, here in LA, are similar problems that they're seeing for communities in Japan. And, there's all these different ways that we can address those issues. And, kids across the world are seeing a lot of similar issues.
That's fantastic. And are you in touch with the other Roots and Shoots, because you're, part of the LA base? Are you in touch with all the Roots and Shoots around the world? Is there ever a meeting, or you get on the phone, or you sort of know what other people are doing, like at a think tank?
Yeah, definitely. So our Roots and Shoots for the US based Roots and Shoots is in touch with all of the other groups across the world. Our leader actually just went out to Windsor to have a very large meeting of Roots and Shoots groups from across the world. And Jane was actually there for the whole meeting. So they were able to kind of collaborate about some of the issues that they face, some of the goals that they're working towards, and get to kind of work together to see what that looks like, in Roots and Shoots groups across the world.
That's fantastic. That is just awesome. And it's amazing if you take a look at a legacy, right, which Jane really has, but her focus is really on healing the planet. Her focus is on, and it's also that whole education piece. And when you take a look at the education that's come through, it's things we would have never thought of, or in ways. But what she's doing right now, and what you're doing with Roots and Shoots, is you're creating this worldwide community of thought leaders. From a children to their parents obviously have to be involved, right? So you're creating all of it. I think it's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the kids that we see that are these Roots and Shoots change makers, the things that they're coming up with are incredible. And these are going to be our future leaders. And getting to see them and see how amazing they are. I actually just spent a week in Jackson, Wyoming with our youth council. So we have our Roots and Shoots youth council that are these youth leaders from across the country. And they all came to Jackson, and getting to hear about the projects that they're doing and the work that they're doing within their community is really amazing. And we have a couple of those youth council leaders based in LA. So getting to hear about their work and then also their nationwide counterparts was really exciting.
Excuse me. I love that. I love it because it is really creating the next leaders, And so within the Roots and Shoots program, do you talk about leadership?
Yeah, definitely. So we have our leadership traits, and we found that, research has backed up the fact that kids that are involved in Roots and Shoots, they develop these traits to help them become leaders. And, these are all ways that they're able to kind of grow, as a person through the work that they're doing. And, just seeing their abilities to think creatively, work collaboratively. These are all things that help to kind of develop those skills that they'll need, and they'll help them to be successful.
I love it. I love it. I was suddenly thinking, right? And we do actually a huge leadership show in May. It's our big show of the year. And I was thinking, wow, this would be great to have some of these kids like with you and maybe one of the DC leaders and them just talking about what it's, well, that's another conversation for another day.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We'd love to get them on here.
Yeah, that would be fantastic. That would be great. And where do you really see it, from the standpoint of Los Angeles? So now has Roots and Shoots been in Los Angeles for a long time?
So we have a really long history based in LA. So there are folks here that helped to launch Roots and Shoots in the United States back in the 90s. Wow. So we have a really long history with LA. But this base camp work that we're doing is basically our chance to focus on a couple of these cities across the US that have this long history, LA being one of them. And, by putting a coordinator like me here in LA, we're able to kind of, build those connections, help kind of support the groups that are here and support the work that they're doing.
I love it. And from a futuristic standpoint, if you were to take yourself out 20, 30 years, where would you and the organization and even Jane like to see it go?
I think just having that impact, the change, the kids are able to build these projects, be those change makers. And I'd love to see more of that community developing between those change makers that are working locally. So often that community is based within that group. The individuals within the Roots and Shoots group have that community, but I'd love to see more and more of these connections so that there's, people coming together to support other groups' projects, people feeling like they're a part of something bigger. Which I think having that connection to Jane is something that they're able to feel like they're doing, the work that Jane wants, and they're pushing forward Jane's mission and Jane's goals. And so I think having them feel those connections to others that are working towards the same things is really important.
That's great because we talk a lot about community and how important it is and how we want to see, especially from being a media company, but social media to be positive. Social media to make a difference, to make the connections worldwide, to have you, as you said, a relationship with someone who's maybe not there at the moment, but taking their child forward in a way, and their thought. I think that's really important. Can you talk a little bit about, so tomorrow is your live event. So by the way, everybody, thank Aaron for being on here today, because they have a lot to do. Can you talk a little bit about your live event tomorrow? And for those of you who live in the Los Angeles area, you can be there. For those of you who live worldwide, it is being live streamed. So can you talk a little bit about the event, how they can connect? And then also, one question I just want to make sure we hit too is for those out there who say, this program for my child would be amazing, how they get involved.
Yeah, absolutely. So let me start with the event. Tomorrow is our Day of Peace celebration. So Jane is a UN messenger of peace. And so because of that, every year, the Day of Peace is a big deal for us. We really like to celebrate. So we are hosting a very large celebration tomorrow. We're going to be at Point Furman Park in San Pedro, and Jane is going to be there speaking. So this is a free public event. You don't need any reservations. Come and join us in San Pedro. And we're really excited to have Jane there celebrating with us in person. She will be speaking. So it's pretty unusual to get to see Jane speak here in LA at a free public event without reservations. So definitely join us. Throughout the day, we're going to have our local community partners exhibiting. So you can meet with community partners. You can meet Roots and Shoots kids to hear about their projects. The LA Tribune will be there. We'll have all sorts of people for you to meet, and live music, food trucks, all sorts of fun ways to get involved. And it's at Point Furman Park, which is a beautiful place to spend a Saturday. So we hope that you'll come out. The event starts at 10 o'clock, and Jane will be taking the stage around 2:30. And then I do encourage you to check out our website, peacedayla.org. Again, that's peacedayla.org. And that has all of the information that you need about parking, the schedule, so that you can have all the details you need for attending Day of Peace.
I love it. And, for those of you who do want to come out, please come see us, because you're supporting an amazing organization. Get to know the kids, get to know who's involved. You're going to see Jane Goodall, who's just, for most of us, has created something in our life. There's been something she's affected or changed, or even things you don't know that she's done. That has this, just the Day of Peace is so important. And have a great time and support the kids and support the organization, and eat great food at the food trucks, and we'll put you on the red carpet. You can have a red carpet experience and just have a really good day, and then take away what you learn, especially those listening to this show. Because you can also go to, is it on your, fantastic. So if you don't live in Los Angeles, you can live stream it. You can see Jane, and then make a difference. Make a difference every single day. And for those that have children around the world, how do they get involved?
Absolutely. So go to rootsandshoots.org, and you can find out how to start a group. So all you have to do is sign up on the website, and then you're able to. We have a lot of resources that can help you kind of launch projects. So, information about, how do you develop your project? What should you be looking for? How can you observe your community? And then we also have grants that happen twice a year. So in the spring and in the fall. And those grants there's $250, which is often that first hurdle that you need to buy the supplies or whatever it is that you need to get that project off the ground that can help you get there. So, register on our site, apply for a grant, and you can, get started with making that change.
Awesome. I love it. Before we go, the one thing the audience always loves is they want to know who we are. So do you mind just telling a little bit about why you're doing this, why you're here, and your excitement about it?
Exactly. Yeah, perfect. So I'm born and raised here in Southern California. So I've had a history, my career has been in informal education. So I've had a chance to work with kids for my whole career. And I've always worked in science education. So I've talked a lot about conservation. I've talked a lot about climate change. But this is my first opportunity to get to actually put those put those thoughts into action. Really enjoyed working with an organization that's more focused on service. So, having kids identify ways to actually get involved and to solve the problems that they are hearing about. And that's really, really great to get to see, because so often when we're talking about conservation and we're talking about climate change, it can be, so scary. And this is a really great opportunity for us to get to see these kids take action and make a change and, help to build the world that they want to be a part of. And that's really special. And I really love being a part of that.
Oh, awesome. It's been great to have you on today and great to have you part of it. We're doing this show because you're doing your live event tomorrow. We're bringing other thought leaders on after this that have created really organizations around children and helping and have been around a long time. And two of them are presidential award winners. So it's really, and one's for, in the Nobel Peace Prize. It's Nobel Peace Prize, not so easy to get, by the way, people. It's a really hard one you got to really make a difference. But we are so honored to be part of this. We are so honored to be part of what you're doing. Erin, you've been amazing on today's show. I know you have so much to get done and do. And questions a little later, there'll be a break. Right after this, we're going to move into another piece. And so you're going to see a little bit flash about the Los Angeles Tribune, and then we'll be right back. So this is always a good time, audience. Take a quick break. You literally got about a minute. Don't leave, though. We know it's not time to leave. Get a break, get your drink, get in front of your camera. If you're driving, please do not be watching us. Just listen. And we're so honored to have all of you on. Erin, it's been an honor. It's an honor to be there tomorrow. We're excited, and anything we can do at any time. Jane has changed most of our lives. We just had a meeting last week on this, and they're like how she affected almost every single person on that call. It's just an honor, and it's an honor for everything you're doing. And thank you for the time that you're putting in and making a difference.
Thank you so much, Michael, for having us. And we'll see all of you tomorrow at Day of Peace.
All right. Fantastic. I look forward to it. Everybody hang on just a minute. Go get your drinks, do all that fun stuff, and we'll be back.
Welcome to the Los Angeles Tribune page. Here you will find original news programming, exclusive digital events, and shows that are directly from the community. At the Los Angeles Tribune, we believe in giving a voice to the voiceless. We are proud to be the only national brand to empower everyday people to make a difference. Since 1886, our reputation has been built on truth and responsibility. Thank you for watching and making a difference.
For general inquiries, contact today. Thank you on behalf of the Los Angeles Tribune Team.
What a blessing. What an absolute blessing. And if I'm getting a little stall, it's probably the internet. You know how that goes, right?
Yeah.
What did you think about that last segment?
Oh, Michael, Bongo was getting really excited hearing about all the things that the kids are doing. And he reminded me, he goes, "Hey, Lisa, you also have a Roots and Shoots in Puerto Rico." And I said, "Yes, we do. But not only is it in LA or Puerto Rico, it is worldwide." And what's so interesting is that it started with a conversation with a group of kids in Tanzania. And that's what gave Dr. Jane Goodall the idea to start Roots and Shoots, because the kids were telling her all these changes that they wanted to do, but they didn't know how. So with Roots and Shoots, this is the tool that we can give all kids out there who have an idea, and to take that idea on a year-long journey. That's right, Bongo, it's a year long. And as Erin mentioned, there's also funding to really bring their idea to life. And at the end of the year, the kids evaluate what went well and what didn't. I mean, does this excite you, Bongo? Yes, it does. And guess what? Like I was saying, this all started with one conversation. And it led to all the projects that Erin mentioned, such as recycling, building a community library. Oh my gosh. So if there's a child out there that has an idea, this organization, the Roots and Shoots, would be so great to make that a reality.
You
And,
know, go ahead. Go ahead, Lisa.
and this whole experience with Roots and Shoots really, really exemplifies what Dr. Goodall is trying to spread. And that's the fact that everyone, no matter how old you are, everyone has a message and everyone can make a change, Michael.
You know, it's just great that way. And if
Yes.
I got a little stall, but can you hear me okay, Lisa?
I sure can. Can you hear?
Fantastic.
Can you hear Michael Bongo? Yep, he can hear you.
Yeah. It is about the kids. And Erin really said, keep the show live and fun and upbeat because it's the kids making a difference. And at the same time, what's happening is that just wait, everybody, for the announcements for the Los Angeles Tribune. We think the program's amazing. We're going to become more involved, and there'll be a lot more coming with that just in the next month or two. So it's really exciting. So with that, Lisa, what we're gonna do, everybody, is you're gonna see a little bit about the Tribune again, and then Jane wanted us to play something by her. Now tomorrow she'll be live, but she wanted us to see this, and we want to see it. And let's just move to the next piece. Lisa, thank you so much, by the way, for just making sure this happened, putting it all together, really driving the force, being that force of healing, and working with us as a team and as part of our team and family. So thank you so much for that. And Alicia, we're ready to move to the next piece. Thank you, Lisa. All right, everybody. We're going to probably come back to the video later because we want you to hear it. We'll try one more time because we think that's the part that's important. If not, we'll just come back to it. All right, Alicia and team, it's okay. We'll come back to this later. We'll make sure we play it later because everybody should hear it. So go ahead and take it out of screen. There we go. All right, you know what? As I say, with technology, we make it happen, but we really think it's important for you to hear that. So I promise we will play it later. We actually later also have a world-renowned poet who's one of his videos went over several 100 million people, and he's amazing. So we'll make sure we play Jane later. It's really the importance of the mission for the day and how it looks and what we're going to do. So with that, I'm about to turn this show over to Alicia, because it's for that next piece. It's amazing because you're going to hear from some amazing people and really what they do. And it was great to hear from Erin about her mission. And thank you, Lisa, for really framing what it's all about and how it started and how it's going to get better at everything we do. So we're going to get a tee up here for Alicia or Ava want to pop up. And then there we go. I can see, you can always see when the team's setting. Isn't that funny? And by the way, share this, everybody. Share this with everybody you know. Share this with just everybody out there. Make sure that you share this so everybody is getting the power of what it is and really having a good time doing it together. And I think it's just going to be a great day. Alicia, if you want to bring yourself up, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you so much, Michael. And also thank you to Erin for sharing more about Roots and Shoots and Jane Goodall's mission and how Roots and Shoots has been having an impact all around the world. Today we are here, we are celebrating peace, world peace, and peace comes in so many different forms. And so you're going to be hearing from a lot of leaders that are talking about the work that they're doing with children, the work that they're doing with healing to cultivate peace from within, and the work that they're doing to really create a better world and a better environment with you all. We are going to be hearing from an expert in the health industry who is just doing so much to help people with their well-being. And we're also going to be hearing from a woman named Bhavna who does a lot of work with healing. So we're actually going to queue up with a commercial break, and then we will be back with our next guest. And I
Welcome to the Los Angeles Tribune page. Here you will find original news programming, exclusive digital events, and shows that are directly from the community. At the Los Angeles Tribune, we believe in giving a voice to the voiceless. We are proud to be the only national brand to empower everyday people to make a difference. Since 1886, our reputation has been built on truth and responsibility. Thank you for watching and making a difference.
General inquiries, contact today. Thank you on behalf of the Los Angeles Tribune Team.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the International Day of Peace, where we are gathering today with individuals that are truly making a contribution to this world and infusing it with peace. And our next speaker that will be joining us today does just this. Bhavna is an international transformational speaker, best-selling author, and the creator of the Golden Light Healing modality. And you'll learn a little bit about that shortly. She's also a coach and a soul healer. Bhavna believes in awakening the light of everyone, releasing traumas and pain and shifting them into love, supporting them so that they can be at a higher vibrational level in their soul journey. She is compassionate about serving, healing, feeling, educating, and empowering people one by one through group classes, sessions, workshops, retreats, and webinars. Her dream is to bring love in the hearts of people and create peace by making ripples of it. This is what led her to open her business, the Bhavna Wellness Group, and she is now the founder of Saving People, which was once a dream that is now becoming a reality as she works to shift the world to create a better place through collaborations that she does globally. Bhavna, how are you today? It is so great for you to be joining us. Bhavna, I just shared a little bit about who you are, but I would love for you to share with our audience more about who Bhavna is and how Bhavna Wellness Group came to be and why it's so important to infuse peace into everything that you do.
Thank you, Alicia. I'm honored to be here. So thank you for having me here. And yes, it was not a dream. My journey has been very interesting. Went through a near-death experience, and God I connected with and pushed me to be that hand He was to me, to be for people who are going through tough time in their lives. And I said yes. I said I would love to be that support for people to transform their lives, to pull them into, because I know what pain feels. I know what suffering feels in your mind, in your body, emotionally, mentally. And it's very important for your full well-being, you know. So I said, yes, God, give me that chance. I would love to support people. And that is what led to creating Bhavna's Wellness Group. And, you know, and then moving forward, I was able to help people during COVID, you know, started to feed people. When God said people are hungry, and I said, I know, I feel it. You know, being the golden light, becoming that, and being chosen by God and the divine to be that, it brings in that feeling, I have to help, serve, help people, and shift people, transform people to be at peace. Because together, if one person is peaceful, they create that ripple effect and help another person, and then they create. So you're creating ripples of that, one person at a time. But if we start doing more of that, we're all going to be so much more better. So the goal is through, and how does that happen, is when you have a full stomach and your mind thinks well, your emotions are feeling better. So that's where I focus on, because in order for you to be peaceful and loving, you have to have a stomach full. So we started to feed people. I was in Massachusetts at that time. We were feeding people there. Then we were feeding people in India. We were helping people in Liberia. And then now I'm here, moved in Florida. So we are feeding people here. And then I also work with mentally, emotionally. And how can people do that every single day? They can do it by just a smile, but you have to feel it from within inside of you, right? And like I was sharing with you, Alicia, I was like, I would drive and I would just looking at somebody, next to me on the sides at the stop sign, and just look at them and smile, because you don't know if that smile is their sign they have asked from God, that give me a smile today so I can live and be, not in my life. Because I've felt so many people during the last years have had mental health issues come up, or emotionally they are not so strong. So we all need support, and I would change that word to, we all should collaborate, to come together, to be one, to help each other and support each other. Because we are a human being, we are that race where we can understand each other, where every pain creates a ripple. So you can feel the pain, but every laughter and every smile also creates that. So let's bring more of that from your heart and your, mind. So mind has to feel that, and it has to flow with positivity. It has to flow with, yes, I choose to be more peaceful. So the first part is just choosing to be peaceful. That's where, the negative chatter mind can calm down, because now you're saying to that mind, hey, I heard you. Let's stay calm. Now I'm choosing to be peaceful. Is it okay? And definitely you can see that it happens not one time, two times, but when you say it a couple of times, you will start to notice that suddenly there's nothing in my mind. Like there's a quietness, like, oh, what happened here? Right? So there are things people can do by themselves, but they don't know. Nobody teaches them. So my goal is to spread that, for people to know that, yes, we can be peaceful. We are beings of peace, and we can make that happen. So it starts, one, with your mind being peaceful, your stomach being full. Okay, that's the physical aspect. The emotional aspect is whatever you're going through, shift all of that. Can you shift the situation? If you cannot shift the situation, and if the situation is toxic, remove yourself from that. If you cannot remove yourself, then you have to go within yourself. That's when the inner work, because whatever's inside is outside, whatever's outside is inside. So you have to detach yourself from that situation, and everything starts to shift. You have to believe in yourself. You have to trust yourself, and sometimes you're looking for, where do I get the strength to do this? How can I do this? Simple things I tell people is, going out. If you go out in the nature, walk. And if you see a beautiful tree and connect with it, go give a hug. Sometimes it's hard because so many people are not huggers, but there are a lot of people who are huggers. And if they're not hugger, so can we go and hug? Yes, you can. So go find a tree in a park, wherever you want. Go see a tree and hug the tree and just stand there for some time, and you can just cry and you can talk to that tree and say, this is what my problem is, give me a solution or give me a strength. And believe it or not, the tree would talk back and give you that. It might sound
I love,
crazy.
it's so interesting that you bring up this point, Bhavna, because you're really making the connection between fostering inner peace and how that took. You talked about the ripple effect a little bit earlier, and how when there's that ripple effect of pain and negativity, that's what we put out in the world. But when you have peace within, there's a ripple effect of peace within, and it can even contribute to our global peace. What are some recommendations that you have for individuals that want to show up for other people, but they're struggling to show up for themselves? And it's very hard to give what you cannot have. And, there are so many ways that people can come together in a peaceful way, but it does start within. What are some recommendations that you have? I know you just walked through one of them of going outside and being in nature and smiling, but what are some other ways that people can cultivate that inner healing and that peace within to put out in the world?
So just like I said, the big thing is the smiling, but sometimes it's hard even to smile. So I've met people who will do the fake smile. They'll push that and they believe in fake it till you make it. I don't believe in that. I believe that I believe that it's important to actually feel it, right? And in order for you to feel it, you have to do that work of connecting and living with purpose. It is very important to know what your purpose is, because you can smile from outside, but that's a fake smile. That doesn't create ripple effect. That's the part I want everyone to remember. If you are here to make a ripple effect, if you are here to create an impact, smile from your heart and soul. That's when it starts. And if you don't do it, the ripple does not go anywhere. It stays in your aura, in your energy field. Okay. But the important part is, how do you do that? Right? So let's quickly, is it okay? Can I take people through that? And I can actually bring in the vibration of the peace with my golden light. I can make you experience that, so that okay, what do? I do have on my YouTube a lot of my videos and I talk about how to help people, and they can go through that meditation with the golden light as well. So
it would be great, Bhavna, to bring, as we all come together today to celebrate what will be tomorrow, September 21st, International Day of Peace. We're collabing with Ruth and Sara O'Meara and Yvonne Federson on day and this celebration of peace. Would love for you to walk our audience through what that feeling is like to bring peace into their space right now.
Yes, it's the frequency, it's the vibration, what I'm going to take you through. So everybody, wherever you are, just take a minute. If you're driving, please stop and park on the side. Don't close your eyes. But others, please sit down, close your eyes, open your palms and put them in your lap, and just close your eyes and giving me permission, say, yes, I do give you permission. So as you do, feel my golden light, Bhavna's golden light, coming from the top of your head, going all around you. And I'm going to go into your energy field and creating that vibration of peace, clearing and releasing anything which does not serve you. And just feel that vibration of peace going all with the golden light coming down. Seal the frequency, sealing it in your vibration, and now bringing it into your head and releasing anything which does not serve you. And now bringing in the frequency of peace with the golden light coming in now. Let that just flow into your entire body, from your mind, flowing through your entire blood system, your nervous system, and asking every part of your body, it's okay to be peaceful, and it's okay to be in the light, and it's okay to choose to be peaceful today. And it's okay to say, I choose to be peaceful. This is my choice. And I'm choosing peace. And it is my choice no matter what. And I love this choice. And I'm just anchoring that in within your heart, in your mind, and it's okay. And so it is, and so be it. And slowly as you come in, come out of that. And you can open your eyes.
Wow. All I can say.
Yeah, make sure everybody has a glass of water and goes to the bathroom. It'll push away all that which does not serve them. But they will see, the vibration which created and then went into the frequency of peace. How did you feel, Alicia?
I mean, when I came out of that, I said, wow, because I felt like a sereneness and calmness around me. And there's something that you said a few times, which I loved. You said peace is a choice. Like, it's intentional, it's a choice, but it shows that we can tune into that choice, right? And if you've given us a means to get there, and we encourage those that are tuning in to remember this feeling, of peace. That's truly a gift. Thank you so much, Bhavna, for walking us through that.
And they can listen to this. They can listen to this as many times and come back, and anytime they push, because people do tend to come out of their comfort zone for some time and then go right back. So if they do, I do encourage them to come back and listen to this as many times, so they can go back into that peaceful state.
Yes, wow, that's so powerful. Thank you for that, Bhavna. As we move into closing remarks in a moment, Bhavna, I would love to hear from you. Given the global challenges that we face today, there's conflict, there is abuse, there's climate change, inequality. How can healing modalities play a role really helping us resolve some of these issues that we're facing as a global society, and also in individual lives as well?
So chaos happens when there's chaos in the mind, right? If there are enough people thinking to do bad things, people who don't think like that will go in that fear vibration because they're picking up on that. Now, if people start to shift into the peace vibration, they're going to start to send that vibration and that frequency out. So it's important more for people to shift into that. And when they start to choose and shift into that, they can make that difference, because everything in the universe is about that.
Wow.
And
yeah, that's powerful. It starts within, and everything you're saying, it all starts within that peaceful mindset, that energy, and the ripple effects. And a lot of the non-peaceful experiences that we're facing in the world is a lot of those negative or non-peaceful energies really coming from within and going out. Bhavna, it's been a pleasure for having you join us today as International Day of Peace. I would love for you to share your closing remarks.
I always say, in vulnerability lies your strength. So if you're going through anything in life, don't quit on yourself. step up for yourself. But start with yourself being peaceful, because that's where you shift yourself. When you shift, others shift with you.
When you shift, others shift with you. That is a message. That is a mantra. I feel like I want to see that on a shirt somewhere. But that is such a powerful reminder. Thank you so much, Bhavna, for being with us today as we celebrate peace today, tomorrow, but really every day. It's a choice. It starts within, and you've taught us today. You've definitely taught me that we can tune into those peaceful energies and can imagine on a day when things are challenging and we are trying to contribute to the world, or we're going through things in our personal lives. Those are the moments where we can really say, I want to step into this peaceful energy, and a meditation can help us get there, as well as being out in nature. Thank you so much, Bhavna.
You're welcome. Thank you very much for having me here.
Thank you.
Welcome to the Los Angeles Tribune page. Here you will find original news programming, exclusive digital events, and shows that are directly from the community. At the Los Angeles Tribune, we believe in giving a voice to the voiceless. We are proud to be the only national brand to empower everyday people to make a difference. Since 1886, our reputation has been built on truth and responsibility. Thank you for watching and making a difference.
For general inquiries, contact today. Thank you on behalf of the Los Angeles Tribune Team.
Welcome to another segment of our World Peace Day that we are celebrating today. Today, we are all about peace and creating peace. And our next speaker is just right about that. She's an advocate in the healthcare arena. I mean, unstoppable. I'm talking about the cancer doctor of Les Brown himself, Dr. Donese Worden. She's an award-winning physician, researcher, entrepreneur, and global health educator who expertly and compassionately bridges the worlds of conventional and allopathic and advanced alternative medicine. As a board-certified physician, she has extensively, proficiently integrated primary care and oncology and pain management, mental illness, clinical nutrition, exercise. I mean, she's unstoppable. Complex diseases, diagnosis, mind-body therapies, anything and everything that brings peace, that brings wholeness. Dr. Donese has really pursued. Les Brown couldn't speak enough great things about her. Les always says, you know, she's the reason I'm alive. And bringing on the stage right now, Dr. Donese Worden. Dr. Donese, welcome to the Los Angeles Tribune.
So great to be here. I'd like to start with the reason why Les is still alive today is because of Les, right? It's him, and it always does begin with us and our ability and our he's just, as we all know, anybody that studied or heard Les, he's just an educator, empowerment, enlightenment. He has all the pieces that we need to get better.
For sure. What I love about what you and Les do together is that you're all about advocacy. So today we're talking about World Peace Day. And talk to us a little bit. What does advocacy play with peace? Like, how do we create peace by being an advocate, especially in the healthcare arena?
Right. Well, sometimes peace comes after you've challenged the peace. It's not necessarily a quiet, nice, easy way to get there. Sometimes we have to dare to doubt things that don't seem right and aren't right. And being able to have the courage to speak up, the courage to say that doesn't seem right, and to not let someone with a stethoscope or a diploma on the wall stop us from asking the questions that your intuition, your gut, and your heart is telling you. Because many, many times in my patients and in my own life with my mother, it was that knowing, that deep knowing that allowed a challenge of the status quo, dare to doubt, listen to your heart, and then speak up. That is the first step sometimes toward peace. We get to peace when we are not afraid to speak up and to listen to our hearts.
Dr. Donese, I just wanted to put a pin on that. Dare to doubt, listen to your heart, and speak up.
Right.
Beautiful 3 steps that anyone could remember, that to have the permission to dare to doubt, to listen to your heart, and to speak up. Oftentimes we hand over our own heart listening, to someone else who we know is an expert and an authority. And you being the doctor yourself, the physician, normally, physicians would say, well, listen to the doctor, just like do what I say. But you're different. And what you're saying is different. So tell us a little bit more on how did you get here? How did you get to a point of like, what propelled you to what's your experience to questioning and really daring to doubt and listening to your heart?
True advancement in science is about questioning. It's about creating a hypothesis or saying there's got to be a better way or another way. That's what science is. It's not, here are the facts, here are the numbers, and we're never going to look outside that again. We couldn't have gone to the moon if we would have been afraid to fail and we didn't have the courage to do the things that needed to be done. So in medicine, I think where the issue is right now, we're stuck. We're stuck in here is the square, here is the box, and standard of care says this from these trials and these numbers. Now there's efficacy there. I mean, I have a research company. I'm a believer in research. We should be researching to pull out as much of the, let's say, things that are not true or the bad players in the industry, both in traditional medicine, pharmaceutical, and in nutraceutical. There are bad players. We need to look at data. However, not at the expense of always letting go of what your gut says. How many times have you ever found yourself, I'm sure everyone listening to this has said, oh, good grief, if I should have said something, I didn't speak up and I should have. And they saw the result because they didn't speak up because they were afraid to challenge the system. And we've gotten so stuck, so to speak, in that if your doctor says this, you do not question, you do not ask, and it's the God complex. And I think we're past that. Many patients are coming in, they've educated themselves, they're asking questions, and the system is not set up that way. And we've got to not be afraid. It's our health, our loved ones' health, to speak up and say, this, I don't understand the medicine. I don't understand this. And if I don't, I want you to explain it to me in words that I can understand, first of all, right? Don't talk above me. Let me understand for sure, especially with my cancer patients. My job is to make sure they understand all of their options on both sides of the fence. They understand it. Then they can use their intuition to make the best choices for their healthcare. And it's not all about the statistics. We've been taught not to give false hope in medicine. That's a tenet. Do not give false hope. I think we need to give more hope. And, intimidation is really a powerful emotion. And some of that has more knowledge than you do. Most people stand down. They think, I don't have it. And that takes some time to build that courage, to know that you can dare to doubt and be telling yourself, I don't want to look back and say, I wished I'd said something. My nature, I was born this way. And whenever my mother was in the hospital, I was the first semester of medical school. She had an issue going on, and I saw it, and it was being ignored. And I thought, I'm surrounded in the hospital, being told by doctors that she's going to die. She's dying. There's nothing to be done. But my intuition told me otherwise. But what was a moment of hesitation was, what do I know compared to them? I'm in my first semester. I'm in an anatomy lab. I'm not a doctor. But I prayed. I listened to my heart and asked myself what needs to be done here. And I found the courage to know that my advocacy, my questions, my listening to myself, and then ultimately a long story of having my mother squeeze my hand if she wanted to stay and fight when I was told she was comatose. It's a beautiful, beautiful story, but it taught me that what they're missing out on by not looking at that and allowing the families or even yourself to say, I'm still in the fight. They're missing out on the ability to watch the power of the human spirit. My mom left that hospital 4 months later as being called the miracle lady because I lost the doubt and the fear to challenge what was being told that was just black and white, adamant, there is no way. And if she somehow survives, she'll be a vegetable. And I knew otherwise. And then when I asked my mom to give me an answer and a little squeeze, she did. And now I watch my cancer patients that are coming to me, many of them stage 4 terminal. They've been given months to weeks to whatever short period of time. And these children, I have 2 glioblastomas, brain tumor cancer patients right now. Now, I'm not treating cancer. I'm not an oncologist, but I'm working with the families and with the patients and help guiding them in questions to ask. And most oncologists really like it because I'm giving them that side and helping with that side that they don't have time to do. It's not teaching them to challenge, it's teaching them to ask the right questions so they're more comfortable and so is the patient. But talk about advocacy, when you will find your strength, when it's your child, a 10-year-old child. The fear goes out, the advocacy comes up. And I would ask everyone not to wait until then. Be an advocate for yourself right now. Your body is sending you signals that you should not be ignoring. Little subtle ones sometimes, but you just go, and you ignore it. I'm asking you to, like you brought up, is that maybe the best advocacy sometimes is toward yourself and saying, am I listening? Am I paying attention to the signs my body's giving me? Because I want to work toward world peace. I want to help World Peace Day. I want to be an advocate. I want to help others. How are you going to help anyone if you're not helping yourself first? And so that's the piece that I think that it doesn't have to be hard. You just have to be truthful with yourself, how well you're doing in certain areas, clean those areas up, ask for help if you don't understand why they're going, if they're not a 10 out of 10, and ask for help and say, I will find my peace and be able to do my practice of finding peace where my body can be healing if I understand where the blockages are. And that's the first step.
And I think, Dr. Donese, what I'm hearing you say, in listening to our heart, it's as if within us, and even the way you had that nudge, and you dared be the first year semester medical student, question the doctors,
That's right.
and walk your mother out of there 4 months later when they said that she wouldn't.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I want to believe that our inner self knows.
Yeah. We usually call it a gut feeling. You know, I had the gut feeling. My gut told me, and everybody says, they can all tell you. I imagine everyone you talk to can tell you a story of the time their gut told them to do something. They didn't do it and they were right. But also we talk about heartfelt. Where did that come from? It's feeling your heart when something is heartfelt. I think it's both. Wherever intuition is coming, the heart, the gut, it's all together. It's a knowing, a deep knowing that something isn't right and that you could be wrong by even challenging or asking. You could be wrong, but it's okay because you stood up. You spoke up with the best of intentions, and then you don't look back and regret. Both for yourself and for advocating for others as well.
I love that, Dr. Donese. And I feel like in advocating for ourselves as we speak to others, you know, sometimes we have this internal conflict going within ourselves also, right? Like
Yes.
our other side of ourselves knows what to do, and we're not doing it. And there's this internal conflict of just the pain of ignoring what our nudge and what our gut feeling is saying. And I know that mental health is one of the things that you've also like incorporated in your practice, and you've spoken about. When we talk about peace and being an advocate for yourself, and sensing that discomfort within us, that conflict within us, what can you say, Dr. Donese, about that, and how we can quiet the storm in situations like that, to advocate for ourselves and make that choice to choose ourselves?
I have found in over 2 decades of working with patients that it's different for everyone where they find their peace. Some it's meditation, some it's prayer, some it's breath work, some it's giving back. It's working on a project or something that's bigger than themselves. They're a passion and a purpose on something bigger than themselves. And explore to be fun, but it's uncomfortable. And most people, it's easier just to sit back, wait till there's, a real catastrophe that you can't ignore anymore, both in your own body or in your community or in your country or in the world. Wait until then and then jump in. It's easier. But I'm asking everyone to let's not take the easy way out, because it's not the easiest way. If you wait and you ignore your health symptoms, you don't want your first symptom to be a heart attack or cancer. Why are you not listening to your body right now? So it's not that hard to find peace or to find a practice or something that will give you an ability to go to the place where it doesn't matter if you're sick. It doesn't matter if you die. Your family will be okay. The big picture is all still there, and it's all beautiful in its own right, in its own way. I don't get into religion with my patients, but I do ask about spirituality. And that's one of the 7 pillars I'll talk about in a minute, is because if we feel connected to something outside of ourselves, whatever that may be for the individual person, that's who really gets better. Now they've got a 10 out of 10 on all their physical ailments or physical things that their body's telling them. If they can run marathons, they can eat, the best, latest diet. They can do all the right things, cold plunge. They say whatever's the newest fad, whether it has science behind it or not. They can do all that stuff, and they're still not happy, and their body's not happy, even though they're doing all the right things, because they have not found that inner peace.
That's where that advocacy comes in for ourselves, right? And so my question is, the value of peace. One of the things that I say is that people cannot value what they don't understand, and they cannot steward what they can't value. And what they can't steward, they can't make better. So it all comes down to like really understanding the value of something. And so when we talk about find your peace and find your time in the morning to be in that peace, and in that evening, scientifically, biologically, physiologically, what does that look like? Why is it important for us to like have those moments of peace and find that peace?
So if we go into the science side of it, let's talk about the autonomic nervous system, the system that we don't have to think about, I need my heart to beat or to take a breath. That autonomic built into a system. There's 2 arms. There's a sympathetic arm, which is fight or flight. That is survival mode. It needs to kick on when there's a bear behind us and we need to run, or we need to fight, or we're going to die. Survival mode. The other side of that nervous system is parasympathetic. That's where digestion happens, libido, procreation, DNA repair, detoxification. That's where the body heals itself and creates those miracle, marvelous molecules that we've been built to do. Because if the body is being told, I'm in fight or flight, running from the bear, it turns off the parasympathetic, because it's not important to procreate. It's not even important to heal whenever it needs to survive. It will choose. It's going to choose survival and turn off all the other things that help us be wonderful, healthy human beings. It's going to turn it off. So the issue is We don't have to have a bear behind us. It could be mother-in-law coming for dinner. It could be something exciting. You've got a wedding that's being planned. It's good and bad stress. It means that the little adrenal glands and that nervous system doesn't know the difference between a bear and your job, your boss being mean, or a bad relationship. It just knows that you're telling it something isn't right, and it needs to be in ready to run or ready to fight. And when it's there, it can't heal.
You know, what's amazing about this, Dr. Donese, is people don't know what they don't know, right?
Right.
And for the longest times, I didn't know I was stressed.
Right.
I didn't even know. Like,
Right.
people would tell me I'm stressed. I'm
Common.
like, what do you mean? I'm like, I'm just, you know, I used to tell myself that I function best in chaos.
Yeah.
Like, and I would say that I need some chaos to like be functional. Like, I need that stress to be functional. Apparently, I was like really, really like non-functional without the stress, because it's all I knew. It was my normal, you know, and I couldn't see otherwise. Like, I can't even see stress because it's so up in my nose. So that's, you know, talk about chronic stress, and like that
Yes.
your norm, and you don't even know what it's like to not be.
That's right.
So in situations which probably a great majority of our population is in, you know, that chronic stress that we call normal life.
That's
you know, between kids and sports and spouse and social media and it's that constant stimulation.
Yeah. You know, I say probably 10 or more times a day, common is not normal. What you were expressing and what you were doing is common. Everybody's tired. Everybody's exhausted. Everybody's has some anxiety or depression. It's become common, but it's not normal. Normal is good energy, and we'll go through these steps so everybody can rate themselves. But normal would be a 10 out of 10. Whenever you rate yourself in these areas, these 7 pillars that we're going to talk about, that is normal. But common would be for you to be lower than a 10 because of our lifestyles, because of our community, the way that life is around us. That's why we've got to find this inner peace. We've got to support our physical and body and our mental health by taking the time to find a practice that allows some inner peace so the body can remember what it feels like to float, to feel comfortable, to feel at peace. People just haven't felt it in a long time, and it's become common to feel anxious all the time.
And to function on coffee and energy drink.
Right, exactly. That's common, right? It's common, but that is not normal, and the body is not built to withstand that for long. Something will happen, and that's called chronic degenerative disease.
So I look forward, Dr. Donese, tell us your 7 pillars. I'm going to be off the camera and we'll just let you teach us.
All right. That's good. And I would say jump in. I mean, I've had hosts before that would say, well, I got to talk about this one.
Of course.
You'd be filled to interrupt. It's a fun interview going back and forth. So jump in if you want. Okay. I'll ask everyone to write down these 7 words. Okay. Sleep, body, BM, energy, mental, relationships, and spiritual. Now I'm going to describe each one of those sections, and I'm going to ask you to write a scale of 1 to 10. You have to be honest. Don't try to be better than you are. Be very, very honest. And then let's see where we sit. Let's start with sleep. First of all, it's about, how much quantity. Are you getting 7 or 8 hours? Are you getting deep sleep, REM sleep? Do you know? Are you wearing a wearable like an Oura Ring or a iWatch or whatever it is to know that you're getting enough of those deep quality sleep? So a 1 would be rating yourself. You can't get to sleep at night. You're laying there and you just can't even sleep, and you can't stay asleep, right? You're waking up all night or you can't get to sleep. That's a 1. A 10 is waking up, ready to go, feeling good. You wake up, usually without an alarm. same time every morning. You wake up, 8 hours of sleep, of deep restorative sleep, and you have energy throughout your day. You don't have that afternoon slump. That is a 10. What I say about sleep is you should be able to close your eyes and within a few minutes drift off to sleep, not be laying there going, I really need to get to sleep because I got this big thing tomorrow, and you can't get to sleep. That is a busy mind. The brain waves are in this incoherent, wacky rhythm, and you can't calm it down. Music, by the way, is one of the best ways to get that brain to train into slower waves and more coherent waves, get the heart and the brain to do that. But if we have trouble getting to sleep like that, the busy mind thing, there's a problem. And even if you get to sleep, you're probably still dreaming, running from the bear, and you're activating those stress hormones. Even though you're asleep, you're in this light sleep that's not deep and restorative, and you're still running from the bear in your sleep. So you wake up in the morning and you wonder why you're still tired, even if you got 7 or 8 hours of sleep. Probably not getting quality sleep. It's about the type of sleep more of it. It's about the deep and the REM sleep. Getting enough of that, even if it's a shorter night, we're probably okay. And we're going to get those once in a while. But if you're not on most mornings waking up, feeling good, having energy throughout your day, sleep is something that needs to be looked at.
Thank you, Dr. Donese.
You're
Pillar
welcome.
number 2.
Number 2 is body. Now, this is beyond your weight, what the scale says, BMI. It's not a stat. We're not talking about that. I'm talking about your body. Are you happy with it? Are you happy? Are you taking care of it the way that you know you should? A 1 would be you're weak, you're flabby. You could be thin, skinny, but still soft. But if you don't like looking in the mirror, you feel weak or flabby, that's a 1. A 10 is you love your body. It may not be the Raquel Welch or the who is Arnold Schwarzenegger build that you would have loved to have been born with, but you're happy with your body. You love it. It's working well. You don't have pain, and you're taking good care of it. You look at it and go, you know what? Good job. That is the kind of body that we want, regardless of the shape that we wish we had. And always trying to get there with surgeries or the newest diet, that kind of thing. Diets don't work. We know it. You gain that weight back plus more, and it's more dangerous to do yo-yo dieting than to be a little bit overweight. But I would say if weight is a struggle, there probably are hormones or other things that can be looked at and found to help you balance your body so it can get to the normalized weight where it should be. Right? So next one, are we ready for the next one?
We're ready.
All right. BM. So that there's no confusion, I am talking about bowel movement. And we need to talk about poop because the microbiome is huge. It regulates your brain chemistry, your serotonin, dopamine, I feel good hormones. Most of those things and a lot of your chemicals are being made in your gut. So very important. Let's first talk about a normal bowel movement. What does it look like? It's from your wrist to your elbow. It's about that long. It should be about as big around in the middle as your wrist. It should be a log formed into a soft log. It's easily passed and it doesn't smell bad, and it's about a medium brown color. And that should happen once a day. Now, women in general go, what?
That's my reaction, doctor.
I know. What? And a lot of the men go, yeah, every morning. Part of that is that women tend to stress, be more anxious. We want everything right in the day. It is some personality type things or things that we've done to ourselves. But women in general have a harder time getting to a normal bowel movement. That is normal. Or some version of that. But a 1 is it's short. It's not formed. It's either runny or it's sticky poo. It's sticky, or rabbit pellets. Not in a log. That's not good. We've got digestive issues, which affects everything, the nutrition getting where it needs to go, your brain chemistry, your immune system, everything. Health begins and ends in the gut. Most important. place, one of the most important places most
Dr.
days.
Donese, does it matter if people don't eat much? Are we supposed, if people don't eat much, are we supposed to still have that size?
Yeah, even when we're fasting, now you've got to make sure when people are fasting or they're doing intermittent fasting, they're getting enough fiber and enough water. If they are, it might be a little bit smaller, shorter, but it's still bulked. It's still in a log, still medium brown color, easily passed. It's still the form of it should look about like that. That's the perfect bowel movement that we're aiming for. This one is energy, and these are all related. One of these gets into low numbers. It's affecting all of them. Energy is ready to go in the morning without the coffee. You talked about that. I'm not against coffee, but you should not have to have it. And if you're crashing in the afternoon or at the end of the day, we've got an energy problem. One, you're waking up tired, you're tired all day, and then you can't get to sleep at night. That's called wired and tired. That's a really bad pattern to be in. For sleep, for energy, for your adrenal glands, those glands that produce those hormones, those stress hormones we're talking about. When they're tired, you get to that point before you completely crash and can't get your head off the pillow. You're wired and tired. At 10, you get caught skinny dipping. Like my dad is 90 years old now. He goes to the gym 3 days a week. He lifts weights. He goes dancing 4 nights. He golfs holes 18, goes golfing 3 days a week. My dad is the way we're supposed to age at 90, but at 88, he got caught skinny dipping because his wife at the time, they forgot their swimsuits. They went to a big spring. They paid the money to do it, and they waited till they thought everybody was gone. They went into the spring. They fell asleep because it got too hot. The next morning they got caught. And they were high-fived by everybody. That's good energy. 88 years old. When I hear people tell me, oh, I'm just getting old, I say, that is not an excuse. It's common, not normal. We may need a little nap in the afternoon. That's okay. Spikes growth hormone. But the rest of the day, you should be getting caught skinny dipping if that's what you want to do.
I love it. Well, Dr. Donese, I always say that people, everything is in the perfect timing. And in this time, as you were talking about energy and coffee, my partner, Alicia Magnus Lewis, just walked in, and I'd love to be able to bring her up on stage.
Absolutely.
We're going through her 7 pillars of health, scoring ourselves from 1 to 10, and energy is number 4, exactly where you came.
It is great to see you, to hear you talking about energy and vitality. I love what you said, that you're not against coffee, but you shouldn't have to rely on coffee to get through the day. I'm kind of curious, Dr. Donese, you mentioned that it's all energy. So from an energetic perspective, how can people look at their health and kind of work on fueling their energy outside of exercise or food, kind of within, whether it's clearing of their stuff or whatever is kind of trapped in their mind, to really boost that energy and vitality up as well?
Great question. And that's coming up in the next couple of pillars. So we have 7 pillars we're going through, and energy is one of them. But you're right. It's not just physical energy, but it's mental energy. If it's erratic and anxious or depressed, there's all kinds of energy. And then there's energy around the body that we can measure. It's real. I've lectured CME, that means continuing medical education lectures, on frequency medicine for years. We know that the body emits electricity and electrical type of frequencies. That's what a CAT scan is, an MRI. They're measuring the frequency around our body. That's an EKG. Measuring doesn't measure the heart, it measures the field that the heart is creating. So I love all kinds of energy, and that's a whole nother, we'll do another show on energy, that kind of energy, right? Which is great. But to have good energy, you've got to take care of all of the 7 pillars, all the basics in the body. That way the body's running efficiently, the mind is, the spiritual side is, everything's at peace, and having the energy to go do fun things and challenge and fight and advocate for the things that you're passionate about, that need to be talked about, and being an advocate for all the important things in your life, for you, your family, your community, your country, the world. We have to have energy to do those things.
We're ready for your number 5, Dr. Donese.
All right. We did energy. Let's talk about mental state. Talking about clarity, your cognition, your focus, your memory, thinking about rating yourself on a scale of 1 to 10. Where are you mentally? It can be anxiety, depression. Where are we? But a number one, if we're really looking at the cognition part, the focus and memory, a 1 is you have a hard time focusing and you can't remember things that you used to, things that you're like, I'm having word retrieval problems. I can't remember a word or a person's name that generally maybe months ago that you were okay with. And a 10 is you feel like, your brain is not wiring and firing correctly. Something's off. It just doesn't feel like you. You're not focused. A 10 would be you are focused, right? All those things are good. It's wiring, it's firing. It feels like you, and you're able to do any and all things mentally that you want to do. Next one, relationships. Do you have a strong support system? Who's around you? A 1, you don't have family, you don't have colleagues at work, you don't have any friends. And intimacy is something that we don't talk about enough, in my mind, in medicine or in any venue, of not having intimacy with your partner. And intimacy doesn't have to mean sex. It means an intimacy. If you don't have touch and feel and intimacy, and you don't have people around you, we start looking at the blue zones where people are living forever. They've got a few things in common. They generally eat healthier than most people do, and they have a few more steps in than most people do. But what they really, really have in common, they have communities around them. And it's not the same. They're not the same religion. They're not the same any of that, but they feel community. A 1, no connection. You're not connected to anything. You feel alone. Feeling of peace within your life. A 10 is the ability to feel connectedness, and there's going to be stuff. It's just part of life. Practice or a faith to be able to go inside yourself and find that peace. Overall, no category should be under an 8. If your total score is under 15, you need some help. You need to ask for help, because obviously you don't have the answers, or you're blocking yourself from doing the things would get better. And that could be old traumas and lots of things that you might need help with, right? If it's 68 or higher, you're going to be like my dad at 90. He's not working at it. He does hyperbaric oxygen, ketogenic diet. And like I said, he's working out, he's active, he's got a community. Health is not easy. You have to work at it, but it can be fun. It can be fun. And being truthful with ourselves and checking in once in a while. Do this audit. Write these down and look again in a month after you've made some changes. Choose a category that's your lowest, and for 30 days, do something that will help you. And if you don't know of anything, ask for help. There are people that can help you find the things that will be easy for you, and they don't have to cost money.
Well, thank you so much for that, Dr. Janice. I feel the peace already.
Good.
I feel the peace already. I mean, and even like, I feel like if we're able to move the dial, just having the clarity of the 7 and being able to look at them and move the dial, for example, in sleep, or
Yeah.
move a dial, in our mental clarity, I feel is very rewarding in itself, because there's a means to measure. You know,
That's right.
there's a means, there's an action plan, there's a means to measure. And they always say, what you want to improve, you measure. You and I love what you brought in this.
Accountability to yourself. You got to advocate for
Right.
yourself. You got to be accountable. We got to, if people say, I went to my doctor, they told me everything was fine on my blood work. Now, of course, it could be a 0.01 from tagging out, which in my mind is not okay, but they're told they're okay, but they feel they aren't. This is being honest. It's checking in on ourselves, auditing ourselves. How am I doing really? And then taking care of ourselves and finding that peace.
Thank you so much, Ava. And thank you so much, Dr. Denise. I think you cannot underscore the peace aspect. Like you said, life flights, it is inevitable, but finding that peace and health is wealth, but peace is wealth. And having that be a driver and an anchor that incorporates all of the other aspects from sleep to body to energy, but really being anchored in that peace is something that I think is a goal to strive for. What does it mean to feel at peace? And that's going to be different for everyone, but it creates the inquiry where people can dive into what does peace look like for me. So Dr. Denise, thank you so much for joining us today. Would love to go to you for your closing remarks on this conversation that we've been having.
I think I would just like to say that having the courage to be an advocate for others and for yourself, for me, that brings peace. Because if I let something go and I didn't say something when I thought that I should have, or stood up for something, that is my inner turmoil. That is what takes me out of my peaceful state. Having my tire blow on the freeway, that's not peaceful, but I know that it's temporary. The things that become not something that you can just forget about, or the things that you feel a sense of regret or a sense of that you didn't stand up when you should have. And peace to me is knowing that you've done all you can for yourself and for others and for our communities. And that peace can be found in many different ways: breath work, prayer, meditation, nature walks, whatever it is,
both for yourself and for
advocating for others as well, so that we can be healthy enough.
I love
and find
that,
our peace,
Dr.
so that
Donese,
we
and
can
I
bring
feel
peace
like
to the world.
in advocating, and what a beautiful for ourselves as we speak to others.
Yeah.
Sometimes we have this internal conflict going within ourselves also, right? Like our other side of ourselves knows what to do, and we're not doing it. And there's this internal conflict of just the pain of ignoring what our nudge and what our gut feeling is saying. And I know that mental health is one of the things that you've also like incorporated in your practice, and you've spoken about. When we talk about peace and being an advocate for yourself and sensing that discomfort within us, that conflict within us, what can you say, Dr. Donese, about that, and how we can quiet the storm in situations like that to advocate for ourselves and make that choice to choose ourselves?
I have found in over 2 decades of working with patients that...
Welcome to the Los Angeles Tribune page. Here you will find original news programming, exclusive digital events, and shows that are directly from the community. At the Los Angeles Tribune, we believe in giving a voice to the voiceless. We are proud to be the only national brand to empower everyday people to make a difference. Since 1886, our reputation has been built on truth and responsibility. Thank you for watching and making a difference.
For general inquiries, contact today. Thank you on behalf of the Los Angeles Tribune team.
Karen, I think that Ava's having audio issues, but Karen, what did you think about from hearing Dr. Donese Worden? It looks like there's a bit of an internet clash today, but she just kind of walked through her different pillars of health and peace. What were your thoughts about that segment?
Yeah, I was thinking about how all of those different elements, our mind, our bowel movement, our sleep, so many of these things are interconnected, and we forget these things. We think that they're separate parts of our body, but they really do impact our physical well-being, our emotional well-being, our mental clarity, and our peace. And since it's the day of peace that we are celebrating, I thought, what more beautiful way than to talk about all the different factors. And I appreciated what Ava said about how, if you start with one, it affects the other. And you can move the needle. If you're just looking at one, you can find improvement. And so I appreciated, Dr. Worden and her holistic approach to having peace and to helping our body.
Yeah, it's so interesting, and I think that was a theme that Bhavna and Dr. Worden were both talking about, right? That it starts within, and there's so many aspects, but we're celebrating the International Day of Peace today and tomorrow, in collaboration and in partnership with Roots and Shoots. We're going to hear from a wonderful organization that works to bring more peace into the lives of children in a moment with Sara O'Meara and Yvonne Federson. But a lot of that starts within, and then it radiates outwards. Dr. Lisa, I know that you've been tuning in as well. What were your thoughts, or what are some of the reflections that you have coming out of that dynamic session with Dr. Donese? And I think you're on mute, Lisa. There we go.
Yes. I love how Dr. Donese gave us tools to move our dial. Because for us to be able to take care of others and be the change makers that we want to be, first, we got to take care of ourselves. So today I'm walking away with so many tools. I was taking so many notes of all the steps that she gave us. And I love how she dared us to doubt, like the current establishment. And I love to say, hey, let's dare to hope as well, right? Let's dare to hope and be the voice and encourage the kids out there to join Roots and Shoots.
I think it's also, I think it's one of those things where we make a difference every day. And every day it just gets better and better. And I think we want to make a change in the planet and just make a difference. And that's why we're here today. We're here today whether the internet's wonky. We're here today whether sound is off and on. We're here today because if all of you remember, one day we're going to tell stories. I'll bring on my business partner, one of my business partners, Mary Glorfield. She was Tony Robbins' vice president for 18 years. They did 82 countries and about 5,000 events together. She produced. So she's got great stories of storms, tornadoes, lightning, where they were when they were stuck in a hotel for 7 days all together because they couldn't get home. I mean, it just goes on and on. Sound goes out, AV goes out. And I think when you're really bringing a message forward, no matter how it looks, it's still a message. And for those of you who've been with us all day, you've been with us all day, and that's fantastic. And we really have just an hour to go. So it's been great so far. And I really appreciate the time that you've all spent with us and the energy you've had together. And if you continue sharing, because we have a great segment coming up. And then after, beaming in from his live event in Norway. That's why, right? We never know with the internet. Adam Roa, who is literally one of his videos that went to hundreds of millions of people and really changed lives. And he's going to be with us live. So you want to hear that. You want to be part of that. So we have another amazing segment coming up, and then we'll move to that. But it is a day of reconciliation, of peace, of how am I going to look at my life today? Yep. What am I going to do today to look at my life? Not everybody else out there, or, oh, they're creating havoc, or, oh, this is terrible, or because first of all, if you watch the news, right? And we are a news organization that really focuses on how are we doing the peace and the healing but just giving you what's going on out there. But if you take a look at really from what's going on from the perspective of how do we bring this all together? How do I really take myself accountable for day by day? Write this down, everybody. It's today. And it starts right now. And it starts about yourself. So don't look out there. You can watch your TV, please. I do. I watch the tidbits because somebody taught me something really good once. She said, she's actually a Catholic nun, but she said she watches the news, right? People say sometimes turn off the news. She says, no, I get so excited. See, she says she actually watches the news and then she spends a half hour praying. So she watches the news and she says she's used to the Walter Cronkite days, right? Where it was just, here's the news, the reporting, but she watches the news and then she takes time just to pray. I'm going to pray for that person today and this person in this country and this environment. And she never looks at anything from nobody's right or wrong. Nobody's up. It's how do we just bring them all together? How do we all, because you just look at our history, thousands and thousands of years. I mean, I could go on and on. We could talk about the Roman Empire. But, how do I today, what am I doing today to affect that change? And start it with yourself, because when you do it with yourself, you also show it to the people around you. And that makes a difference every single day. So I'm so excited to be here. Lisa and Karen, this has been a great day. And we're going to move into another piece. And then we have a gentleman beaming in with us who has brought world peace through poetry, through language. And then you'll hear the host telling you how to be involved tomorrow. We're going to have Jane Goodall live. Who knows what feeds are going to happen? We're from a park, right? And but we're with all the kids. That's the thing. We're there for the kids. When anything else happens, if our feed doesn't work, if Jane Goodall decides, I'm flying off, we're there with the children to make a difference. And that's what we're there for. And then we're there to be with Jane and support her, just whatever she needs, and have a good time through the day. So just one word, Karen, about what the day's been like so far.
Well, I just feel so much hope when I think about the children and about the roots and shoots and all that Jane is doing. And like you just said, no matter what is going on in our own personal world, in our work environment, in the community or wherever externally, we can start within. And so that gives me hope that I can think positively today. I can say a prayer for someone today. I can make a difference today. And that gives me hope.
I love it. Lisa.
Hope and starting within. It's so hard to do it in one word, Michael, but what you said earlier about how the prayer follows the news. What I love about the Los Angeles Tribune is that the news becomes the prayer, because we're spreading hope. We're spreading positive stories. And yes, hope, hope, hope.
Oh, I love it. And I want to say thank you to all of you. Thank you to the team at the Tribune. Thank you to all of you watching in over 23 countries. We'll share this with people I've heard so many stories of how Jane Goodall has affected everybody in many ways. And for those of you who don't know who she is yet, you will. And I first saw her, she was at my son's school back in 1995. She came to a little school in our little community near Seattle and taught the children. And I went, oh, you're amazing. Because she had already been on national for 20 years, already been on, national TV and broadcast, and met the Queen and everything. And she was just there like anybody else. And it was amazing to see. And that really struck me. So thank you all for sharing. Thank you all for continuing to share this with people. We're going to tee up another round just to give you guys 30 seconds to grab a drink, and we have a next amazing segment. Then we're going to tee it up again, and we're going to move into Adam Roa, and he's amazing. So keep commenting, keep sharing, and Lisa and Karen and Alicia and Ava and the whole team. And, for myself too, and Mr. Mo Rock, who really brought this together, these virtuals, this getting us out to the world and continuing to make a difference every day. All right, team, if you're ready to go, thank you so much, and take it away.
Our name has been a part of the world of journalism. We've have earned a reputation for being a publication that practices integrity, authenticity, and responsibility. For general inquiries, contact today. Thank you on behalf of the Los Angeles Tribune Team.
Welcome back to International Day of Peace. Today we are so blessed. So I would say really graced to have amazing women that are going to be joining us shortly. Alicia, I always ask you this question. How excited are you to have our next guests?
Ava, I am excited. I am delighted. And I am so honored to be with you right now, welcoming our next guest. Yvonne Federson and Sara O'Meara's journey of compassion and advocacy began over 60 years ago, halfway across the world in Japan. In the late 1950s, while working in Tokyo, they encountered a group of children that were left homeless and vulnerable in the aftermath of the war. In that moment, these two young women made the decision that would change not only the lives of those children, but of over 13 million children around the world. They opened their hearts, their power, offering shelter to many children who would benefit from their care. And this act of kindness laid the foundation for what would eventually become Child Help, one of the largest and most well-respected organizations in the world dedicated to the prevention and treatment of child abuse. Through their relentless dedication, Yvonne and Sara have created a network of programs that have transformed over 13 million, yes, 13 million children worldwide. Child Help's National Child Abuse Hotline offers 24/7 support and has been a lifeline to millions of children and families seeking assistance in crisis. Their Child Help Speak Up, Be Safe prevention program is implemented nationwide, equipping children from PK to 12th grade with the knowledge to protect themselves from abuse. Their advocacy and educational programs have empowered communities to take action against child abuse, and their residential facilities, advocacy center, foster care, and adoption services have provided a safe haven for thousands of children who needed shelter, care, and most importantly, love. I mean, we could go on and on about Sara and Yvonne's work, but we are just
And
so
I mean
delighted.
on and on, because 66 years of service, right?
66 years of service. They are also the recipients of the President's Lifetime Achievement Award for Community Service and have been awarded numerous times over the last 60 plus years. So Ava, I know that was a longer than expected kind of response to your question, but it is a delight and an honor to be welcoming Sara and Yvonne today as part of World Peace Day.
Welcome, Sara and Yvonne. We are so excited and delighted. Congratulations on your recent recognition and awarding of President Joe Biden's Lifetime Achievement Volunteer Service Award. Totally, truly deserving, and we are so honored to have the privilege to be with you on that day.
Well, thank you so much, because we're very honored to be here, and we want to talk to our friends and fellow peacemakers and global citizens today, because it's an honor to be with them as we celebrate the International Day of Peace. It's a day that reminds us all of our shared humanity and our collective responsibility to foster peace in every corner of the world. And peace, at its core, is more than the absence of violence. It's the presence of compassion, justice, and love in our interactions with one another. And it's a foundation upon which we can build a brighter, more harmonious future. In my lifetime, I have seen the power of peace to transform not only individuals, but entire communities. Through Child Help, which is an organization born out of deep commitment to protect and nurture children, I've witnessed the profound impact that peace can have on the most vulnerable among us. Over the years, Child Help has transformed the lives of over 13 million children and touched countless more. Yet, peace touches every life, every one of us, from the youngest to the eldest. And its power to heal and unite is boundless. It's a thread that runs through every human heart, no matter what the circumstances are. Peace is the bond that unites us, no matter our differences. It's what allows us to come together in moments of crises, to rebuild after tragedy, and to envision a world where dignity, and respect is extended to all. It's not something that we can just simply wish for it must be cultivated, nurtured, and sustained by each of us. Throughout the world, the image of the dove carrying an olive branch has come to represent peace. It's a symbol often seen at events like this. And it's also deeply significant to us at Child Help, as it graces our name and mission. But what's even more profound is the dove is a symbol of the Holy Spirit, reminding us that true peace comes from God. One that calls us to be instruments of love and healing. And this divine symbol guides us in our work and in our lives, trying to be ambassadors of peace in all that we do. At Child Help, our mission has always been to heal children who have known unimaginable, I should say, suffering. But in doing so, we are also helping to heal the world. Every child who overcomes adversity, who grows up feeling loved and valued, becomes a beacon of peace in a world that so often feels divided. But by lifting up those in need, we are making an investment in the future, one that ensures the next generation understands the true meaning of peace. But peace extends far beyond the healing of the individual. It calls for us to engage with the larger global community. It requires us to protect our planet, to support the vulnerable, and to ensure that justice prevails wherever there is opposition. Peace asks us to look beyond ourselves and embrace the well-being of our neighbors, near and far. So, on this International Day of Peace, let's commit to this vision. Let us recognize that peace is not just a lofty ideal, but a practical necessity for the survival and flourishing of humanity. Whether it's in our own homes, in our local communities, or on the world stage, we each have a role to play in creating a more peaceful and sustainable world. Together, we can turn that dream of peace into reality. Each act of kindness, each step toward understanding, and each moment of compassion brings us closer to a future where peace is not just the exception, but the rule. Let us all, especially those who are listening today, let us be ambassadors of peace in our daily lives, knowing that the future we desire is shaped by the actions that we take today. Thank you so much for having us, and may peace be with you all.
That is so moving, Sarah. Thank you so much. There are so many gems in the things that you said, and I know that I would go back and re-listen and rewatch this because there's so many gems. And I know Yvonne, you also prepared a speech for us, so would love to introduce you next.
Well, I would like to talk about the volunteers because when Sarah and I began the organization in 1959, we had very little money, but we had wonderful friends and they believed in what we wanted to do for the children. So they were the first group to start our volunteers. And we've had wonderful volunteers right by our side every single day, helping us throughout these many, many years. They've really been the backbone of our organization. And we call them the unsung heroes because they give of their time and they give all their hearts, and they constantly are doing everything that they can to help their children. And they have helped our organization to grow and become the organization that it is today. We couldn't have done it without them. And they have helped us heal, and they've helped children to heal. So many, many children, thousands of children. And this group of volunteers, they do so many special things for the children. Whenever the children have a need for something, they're there for them. And that's really the children who come to Child Help are very fortunate because our volunteers always are there to help them in every single way. You know, volunteers are proof that peace is something that we can all create, no matter who we are or where we are from. Volunteerism is one of the most powerful ways to bring peace into the world. And when we give of ourselves, whether it's through advocacy support or simply by being there for someone in need, we are planting seeds of peace in our communities. And the ripple effects of these acts of service are found far, far, far beyond the individual touch in countless lives. So now today, as we reflect on the International Day of Peace, we ask that you celebrate the power of kindness, the power of love, and volunteerism. Let us remember that peace is not just a distant dream, but it's something that we all can create, one compassionate act at a time. And we can do it starting today. We hope you will join us. Thank you, and we love each and every one of you.
Well, thank you so much for that encouragement, Yvonne. You know, volunteerism, I mean, you walked it long before there were funds. You were the one who created it. Your vision, your passion, your heart also inspired a lot of people. What comes to mind is, a government for the people, by the people, of the people. And another quote that says, ask not, what you can do for your country, what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. And you two are the exceptional models of living life exactly that way, like seeing the need, feeling the need, and really being community servants and volunteers. So thank you for the example that you have demonstrated. I am truly inspired. Coming from our time together, I realized, we all get to play beyond ourselves. You know, we play beyond our own capabilities, and we believe in the higher power who called us, a higher power who will provide for us, who will create connections for us, who will make a way for us. That is the inspiration that I've seen on how you have lived your life. You know, not having a guarantee or where things are going to come from, but going after it anyway. So, in closing, I would love to just, like, in your own words, the 66 years that you have served, I know this is outside of your prepared speech. What's some closing remarks that you would want to live for us, you know, gleaming from your 66 years of selfless passion in serving your vision and your mission, in being faithful in stewarding? You know, one of the most inspiring quotes that I heard from your ceremony was from Jim Hebbets, and what he said was, Sarah, I think it was you, Sarah, who said it, or Jim, but it was said that if God has told us to do it, it's up to us to find the provision for it. So, would love to give you the full stage for your closing remarks.
Well, the answer to success for anyone is when they look to God for guidance, for God to lead them in their life. Because we cannot do it as just human beings. If we want to complete the plan that God has for us. But remember that God has a divine plan for everyone. Right. Not just one person or a few. It's for everyone. And they're brought in to this earth, on this earth, in order to fulfill their destiny. And they've been given the skills for that destiny, which helps the whole, all of us. So if you do not fill that plan that God has for you, what happens is the wheel is wobbly because you didn't do your part. But you'll always succeed when you go with God's plan. It may not be what you yourself would do, but if you listen to God and take time to listen instead of telling him all the time what you want, then your footsteps are guided in the light. And this is the reason that Child Help has been successful. It is not because of us. It's because we have listened to what God wants. He loves the little children. He tells us that in his word. And he looks for people's compassionate heart. It can just be a pinch of love. And that goes so far in changing a life, uplifting a life, not just for abused children, but for each other. If we just allow ourselves to be guided by God, then our life is complete. And happiness is in serving others. It brings it back. You cannot outgive God. So whatever we do for another comes back to us full circle and more. So if you ask me, what is it that has caused all these years the success of Child Help? It belongs to God.
We've always said this is God's organization. We're just his hands and feet. And I think our volunteers have been successful in all of their events because they too pray and they too believe, and it's become their mission. And they know this is the right mission for them. And they're so dedicated. And they've been, think of this, how many years that these volunteers have been with us. Over 65 years. And they love what they're doing. And it makes them feel good that they can help others. And it will make you feel good when you turn around and help others. Whatever you choose to do, whether it's children or whether it's older people or whatever, it will make your life totally different if you just live it just for yourselves. But if you start living it also for helping others, that will make such a difference in our world. If everyone would do something for someone else every day, think how different this world would be.
And that right there is the message for International Day of Peace. Live your life also for another. What I'm hearing is the key to peace in our world is to serve one another.
And thus you serve God.
So with that, Sarah and Yvonne, thank you so much for a life fully lived, and that you're continuing to live legacy beyond you, beyond what you can create with your own mind, but that God is creating even your vision of creating a global academy for child help and for preventing and treating child abuse continues to go on. And we invite our audience to support child help. What would be a good place for them to go to support, to donate, to volunteer? Yvonne and Sarah.
Well, they can look up www.childhelp.org and find out what Child Help does. And there are places there that tell you how to volunteer, what kind of programs we do, etc. So if they care enough to look it up, they can find almost an answer for whatever they have. And also, Google has made us #1, where if you just say child abuse, we come up for our National Child Abuse Hotline. And that hotline saves so many lives in every single town, in every single city in the entire United States and beyond. We help Canada and the Virgin Islands. So, and we speak in 170 different languages. We can get help for anywhere at any time.
How beautiful. And what I hear also is not just in donating, but also protecting children around you.
Yeah.
Yvonne, when they suspect that there could be a child in danger or that's being abused around them, what would be something that you would say they should do?
With what? What would you say that they should do if they see a child that's being abused around them?
They should call our hotline 1-800-4-CHILD.
That is very easy. 1-800-4-CHILD.
Yes.
Yes.
The number.
Wonderful.
The number.
Number 4. Thank you so much, Yvonne and Sarah. We are so honored to have you on International Day of Peace here at the Los Angeles Tribune. And friends, we have more to show you right after this. We will be right back.
Hello and welcome to the Los Angeles Tribune. Since 1886, our name has been a part of the world of journalism. We've earned a reputation for being a publication that practices integrity, authenticity, and responsibility. For general inquiries, contact today. Thank you on behalf of the Los Angeles Tribune Team.
All right. You know, it's been an amazing day because, and Karen, I'm going to bring you up too. You ready? Just, you can shake your head there. Karen. Okay. So, you know, it's just, it looks like I'm frozen. So it's been an amazing day, and you know how things go. We talked about, again, the internet and the feeds from the different countries and everything we have going on. And I'm sitting in a hotel room, so you never know what they're going to play. They're due 1,000 people jump on. There's a convention. Life goes good. But it's been a great day, and it's really about how people are solving the problems around the world. And we're about to move into a live piece, beaming a gentleman in from around the world. And it's really about how we speak it and think it, and it gets into our soul and the energy. It's like the other thing too is, you know, we used to also, you know, always at Peak Potentials events and Tony's events, we use music because music is energy, and energy has vibration, and vibration has healing to it. So I'm gonna let Lisa, you do this. Hey Karen, how you doing?
Great.
Oh, awesome.
Hey, Karen.
So it's okay. It's just a great day, everybody. It's always good to have you three on. We've had such a great day. You know, Karen, thank you so much for your comments and everything you've done for the day for the Tribune, and Ava and Alicia and Lisa helping make this all happen. It's just been fantastic. So why don't you just bring up the next gentleman, because you know him really well.
Oh, I would love to. But before I do that, I just want to give a shout out to Ian from Kenya and Fahad from Pakistan. Fahad is 14 years old and they're both tuning in. So I want to give a shout out to both of them and all the Tribune fans out there. And right now, boy, you guys are in for a treat. Our next guest is Adam Roa. He is able to weave words together just like a music composer, but he's a word composer. Oh, you guys are in for a treat with his magic with words.
All right, everybody, give a thunderous round of applause for Adam. You know, Adam, where are you beaming in from today?
I'm in the Netherlands right now, actually. I fly back to the US tomorrow. So.
Oh, you do. And aren't you literally teaching today, or you're in a course, or?
I did both today. I'm always a student, you know, and then I also teach as well, my own programs. And so teaching, sharing, it's all kind of one big, beautiful blur at this point.
Wow, that's fantastic. You know, part of the reason you've touched a lot of lives. You had videos that have literally gone to hundreds of millions. And it's I know for you, it's not about the numbers, it's the difference. And is somebody really, you know, is their life being changed? Is there peace being brought in? We talked about this earlier, Adam. Sometimes it's just individual. It's one person at a time. And how do we make a difference? You know, thank you for being on this day of peace. We've had Jane Goodall's Roots and Shoots program. We've had lots of great people on today. We're going to have a video right after you about Jane. Tomorrow, we're actually going to broadcast live with Jane from Furman Park in San Pedro. So it's really cool. And we're going to be there with the kids all day, just playing with the Roots and Shoots and running a red carpet so they can just have fun. Tell us just a little bit about what you do and why you do what you do.
This is such a funny question because I often get lost when asked that. I'm like, what is it that I actually do? And at the end of the day, what I believe is that art is a way that we can bypass the logical defense mechanisms of the human mind and immediately hit someone in their emotions. And as a coach, I've been a coach now for well over a decade. You learn that true change happens when someone feels. There's an emotional component that always goes hand in hand with actual change. And so in a society like today, where so much of the world is built in a way to avoid feeling certain things, it doesn't matter how closed down someone is, how much they want to protect their heart. They go into a movie because of how they think it's going to make them feel. They put on music because of how they think the music's going to make them feel. And so art is given a permission slip to make people feel things, which means it's given a permission slip to help them change at a really deep level. So I use art to help initiate change in the individual, like you just said, because ultimately, even as a collective, the collective is made up of individuals.
You know, one great thing too, and then I'll have Lisa I know has got a burning question. I can always see that. But one thing I think that's important too, and our audience really likes, because thank you everybody, by the way, for being on. We know this goes out to 23 countries. We had people from Africa and Palestine. We've had people from the Philippines and Thailand watching and commenting, and all around the world. Is they love to know, you know, with your concept and what you're bringing out and the change and what you just talked about, what's the biggest impact it's had for you personally?
Well, I believe that creativity is the purest expression of our soul. I think that it is the thing that makes you completely unique. It is your life force energy. If I gave everyone who's watching right now the same assignment, write a poem about love, every single one would be completely different. Because no matter the assignment, the energy flowing through you is entirely unique. And so I kind of go around all these really cool modalities, healing modalities, things like that. But what more healing of a modality could there be than allowing the pure essence of your life force energy to flow through you, to give yourself permission to express your soul? I think there's something incredibly healing about that. And so for me in my own life, tapping into that and giving myself permission as someone who is so closed off, so shut down, so afraid of life, to give myself permission to express just purely has been incredibly healing. And I've seen it heal and change the lives of my clients, my family, my friends. It's a huge part of what I believe will ultimately shift this planet, is people stepping into pure expression of what's alive in their hearts.
One last thing, because we're a live show, so we have comments that came in. I saw comments on one of the board, and I knew somebody was going to ask this because I said numbers, right? They wanted to know how many people watched some of your videos, and we know they've been, and why do you think they hit those kind of numbers?
Well, I'd like to take all the credit for why, but I actually think it's a combination of a couple things. One, it's art, and I talked about the power of art. And two, the message is so needed. So the poem that went incredibly viral is called "You Are Who You've Been Looking For." You can find it on my YouTube, but it's called "You Are Who You've Been Looking For," and it's about self-love. Literally that message, you are who you've been looking for. And it was viewed over, what we know of is at least 250 million times. And it's been taken and posted all over the place. And so 250 million and counting. And ultimately the thing that got me, and I'm most proud of, is that it was intergenerational. I would get message from people saying, hey, I got this from my mom. She sent this to me. And then I sent this to my grandma, and my teenage daughter loves this poem. It went across so many countries, so many ages, all the demographics and typical barriers. And to me, that's because of the power of art. I could have been on stage talking about self-love like so many people do, but the fact that it was art, again, bypassed the mind and just hit people in the emotions, but also the message. I think in this time, we are at a crucial apex where social media is both giving us an opportunity to be connected. Look at what's happening right now. We're connected all around the world right now because of technology. And also we hear about how it can disconnect us, how we can go into doom scrolling and get lost in the digital world and forget what it's like to connect to the earth, which, coming back to Jane Goodall, I mean, what a way to honor her and her work is to really use technology to connect people back to a feeling of being really human and being here on this earth for a reason.
Yeah, thank you for that. We actually just posted that out to our audience. So we'll watch your numbers go up from that one. So Lisa?
Oh, Adam. Yes, you are who we've been looking for, Adam. And I remember a time when you spoke to my daughter and a group of teens, and you got my daughter over a mental block around poetry. She's like, Mom, before Adam spoke to me, poetry is not my thing. But now she's like, Mom, I think I can do poetry. So you gave us an invitation to write a love poem earlier. If you can give us like 1 or 2 tips, if someone has a block, a mental block, and they're trying to write something, an expression of their soul, an expression of love, what would be that 1 or 2 tips you give them?
Well, I got a couple. Well, let's see. First, poetry to me is writing without rules. Remove all the rules. It doesn't need to rhyme. It doesn't need to even make sense. Let yourself just freely express, first and foremost. And it's expressing from a place of emotion. The words are just the wrapping paper for what you feel. And so if we can get out of the mind and just put our feelings into words with no rules, that's poetry. And I think that a very helpful practical tip for people who are interested in trying it is take something that you're struggling with in your life right now or maybe something that you just feel strongly about. Maybe it's really, you're really joyful. Maybe you're deeply in love, and write about it, just like as if you were journaling. Write about it, let yourself express freely, brain dump, and then go through that and pick out a few lines that really stand out. Pick out a few lines that actually have some emotion or some charge. When you read it back, you go, wow, I like that line, or that line makes me sad, or it makes me smile or laugh. And then take that line, one of those lines, and write it down and start from there. Because now you've got the momentum of your emotion already going. And if you can remove, again, the idea that you need to get it right, and step into my third point. I know you said one or two, but here's the third one.
Go for it.
Which is the process is the point. The process is the point. And one of the things that I teach inside my programs and to my clients is that by writing a poem about something going on in your life, you are forcing your brain to look at that situation in a way it never has before. You never have looked at that situation through the lens of, I need to turn it into poetry. So you're creating new neurological connections in the brain, which means that whatever story you had about it before, you will have alternatives available to you, which means it'll lessen the hold that has. And so oftentimes it's so healing to take something that we've been going through or struggling with and literally rewire the brain and open up new possibilities for how we could view that situation. So the process is the point.
Adam, I love this. I love how, the poetry and the art can get through those barriers in the brain to touch the heart and to connect on an emotional level. We'd like to give you the floor to share maybe maybe this poem, maybe another favorite poem that kind of does that for the audience.
Absolutely. I was thinking about Jane Goodall and her work, and how she really stood for empathy and feeling and emotion and connecting, and not just connecting at a broad level, but paying attention. Think about the detail that she paid attention to, the smallest little things. Mm-hmm. And that became her life, to pay attention to the smallest things and use that to connect. And so that made me think of this poem, which is called Heaven. And again, it's available online for anyone who wants to listen to it. But this poem for me is about finding the gratitude and the importance of both feeling, but feeling from that space of deep presence in the little moments. So we don't get lost in all the big milestones, but the little moments of appreciation. So this poem is called Heaven. And I invite everyone listening, watching right now to give yourself permission to slow down and take a nice deep inhale with me. And exhale. The most impactful thing you can do for the world is learn how to love life. All of life. Show people that being happy doesn't mean turning a blind eye to the pain or the sadness or the suffering that happens here. Show them that choosing love doesn't mean ignoring fear. It just means being willing to feel. And those brave souls will always heal as long as they maintain the courage to feel. Because the fear of feeling is really at the root of every fear, which creates a fear of living, because feeling's why we're here. So you can fight the fact that feelings past have felt so freaking hard, but it's the very fact that you have felt all that feels like the part we should celebrate, investigate, learn to navigate with ease. Your emotions are the gift God gives you every time you breathe. Energy in motion with the strength to bring a king down to his knees, and yet contained within emotion is the key to set you free. Yes, contained within emotion is the gift of what being human is. A chance to feel all of life, from deep sorrow to deep bliss. And you might wish the two would split, but the twist is that they'll always coexist, because even the heartbreak you hate today had the way paved by a lover's kiss. So you could write your list of how life's a bitch, but don't forget the asterisk, because for all the times you went through, it fertilized a lot of gifts. But if you only focus on what you lack, You can't appreciate what you've got. But with gratitude for what you have, you can see that it's a lot. And that is the difference between abundance and scarcity. It's not about what you have, it's about what you see. So the next time you forget how blessed you be, take a moment and focus on the next breath you breathe.
Yeah.
Next time you forget how blessed you be, take a moment and focus on the next breath you breathe. And notice you're right here with me. A miracle, a great mystery out of hundreds of trillions of stars in hundreds of billions of galaxies. Somehow, some way, you're here today with me, and we all breathe on a spinning sphere of chemicals, spiraling through the universe. You were once one of 200 million sperm. You just happened to get there first. So how could you ever say you're cursed? You've been blessed since before your birth, and you might not think you have it best, but it could definitely be worse. And if you don't believe that yet, go tell the deaf what you just heard. And if you don't like what you see, go tell the blind how much it hurts. On your hardest day, when you really want to walk away, go tell the paraplegic how it's unfair. Share how you want to run from all your problems while he's pushed everywhere in a chair. And I'm not saying that life is fair or that it's easy. We all go through a lot. But as you walk through the valley of the shadow of death, don't lose gratitude for the fact that you walk. Celebrate the fact that you can dance and sing. Embrace the abundance in the very act when you talk. Because when you can spot abundance in the simplest things, that's when more abundance unlocks. The simplest things: taste, touch, breath, smell. Did you know there are people with something called anosmia, which means their sense of smell is completely lost? So while they literally can't smell the roses, do you want to complain you don't have the time to stop? Because this life is the only one that you've got, and there are people who would trade places with you without a second thought. So no matter how many tears, heartbreaks, or bad days you pay, the cemetery is full of souls that know living is worth the cost. Don't wait till it's too late to learn that lesson. Living is worth the cost. But make no mistake, being alive is not the same thing as living. Just like throwing something away is not the same thing as giving. So if you haven't yet found your love of life, I suggest you keep on digging and allow yourself to feel your way through all the hurt and all the rage. And as you feel, allow yourself to finally turn the page. That's how we heal. And it might hurt like hell, but you'll have shown us we'll be okay to feel it all and still love life. That's heaven. And you'll have helped pave the way. That's heaven. Can you feel it? Heaven is here today.
Oh, wow. That was so beautiful. That was so beautiful. I just love that.
You know, thank you, Adam. When I talked to you 2 weeks ago, I think, and you said, I will be there. And I said, just from knowing you, and I talked to the team, you are at the part of the show that brings everything together. And I'm in a hotel, so my internet's a little off and on, but what you just brought to our audience is life-changing. What you just brought to the people listening to us is life-changing. I'd love to take that section and we'll show it to the Roots and Shoots. Well, I know you've done it with Jane, but you just, for the Tribune, have made a difference in all our lives. And I want to thank you so much for you could have said no, you could have said busy, you were in the middle of and you just said yes. And communication, because it's been crazy last 2 weeks, and you just showed up. And thank you. That's all I can say is I'm a little speechless, and I don't get that way very often. So thank you. And poetry for me has always been and you've just opened my heart to something new in my life. And everybody feels that. I can look it around. I know this panel well. Any last couple words before we do let you go. And I can tell you right now, we're getting comments. Somebody, Mon from the Philippines, is a 23-year-old listener, said, I can feel the power in your words. This is the kind of guidance I've been searching for. You've been blessed before your birth. You're getting hearts. Words are the repping power for it. It's just pouring in from all over. And I know we'll watch your schedule, but we would love to have you back and do a segment, because I think this is life-changing. And I think that's what we're going to do. So I'll be talking to you. Thank you.
Well, thank you. I'm really honored. You know, we stand on the shoulders of giants, and I really want to give it back to Jane Goodall and all of her work. And we're here today because of that, and the sacrifices that she made and the differences that she's made. And it is my hope that people who hear that poem really take to heart the idea that we can't actually change anything if we're not here. You know, we get to be here. We get to be human. We get to feel really deeply and remember the beauty of being human. And when we fall in love with that, when we fall in love with like all the feelings, even the ones that suck sometimes, like when we fall in love with being human again, I think that it just shifts the mentality so much. And we all know those people. We know those people in our lives that love life, and we want to be around them. And my hope is that for those of you listening here, I think the path for me, that's been for me, and a path that I think is available to everyone, it costs nothing. It is available to you at any moment, is your own creative expression. So allow yourself permission to express, tap into your emotions, and fall in love with life.
Thank you so much. Worldwide audience, everybody out there, from myself, Mr. Mo Rock, the Los Angeles Tribune, Adam, blessings to you in the day that you've left us with something that's magical. Because Adam, tomorrow we all get to hang out with Jane Goodall and all the kids. We're going to take this magic and go make a difference. So thank you so much. I will definitely want you on again. This was amazing. For myself and the whole team. Adam, just have a good sleep tonight. Whatever you do, just you keep changing the world the way you're doing it. Never stop.
Perfect.
And we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you today. Thank you so much, Adam.
Bye, Adam.
Oh my goodness.
Look, I popped her on. She didn't even know. So this has been great. Hello, Bruce. How are you? So was that
Hello.
It's really funny. Yeah, because Lisa, you talked about for your daughter, and we got to roll here because we have the other video with it teed up. Do we know? But can we find out and then just let me know? But the Lisa, you talked about your daughter writing poetry, and I have to say, in my life, and it's been around me, and my parents did a lot with haikus and poetry, and my mom was a writer, but for me, and I know my wife does beautiful, but I never quite understand poetry. I got it. Does that make sense? I just got it. And I think for all of you, I saw the faces, the reactions. I mean, we should just, this show's over, done. But if we can, we're going to see Jane. If not, we're going to have her live tomorrow. So
I've got a poem for everybody. I've got a poem for everybody. Roses are red, violets are blue. I want to go write a poem. How about you?
Yeah, there you go. It's been great. Thank you. What a wonderful day. And Teresa Rose, one of our hostesses has joined us. I can't even get it out. Has joined us. She's on a lot of our shows with us. She really brings the international influence to us. She's going to be live with us tomorrow with Jane Goodall. And it's just been great. Alicia, do you know if we have that other one teed up, or we'll just move?
We're queued up to move on with a message from Jane. But what
Let's
a powerful
poem
from Adam. Heaven is here today, the power of perspective. So
yeah, and we'll talk about it right after this video. So we'll just take a couple minutes and then we'll let everybody go. Barista, thank you for jumping on. So let's move to the next segment, and then we'll be right back in about 7 minutes. Maybe we will, maybe we won't. We just go with the flow.
appears we
And
still
we
have a
have
sound
no
issue.
sound. Yeah, we might have a sound issue. So what we'll do is we can, if you could put the link to where this video is so people could watch it, that would be fantastic. Yep, that would be just great. So we want everybody to, so you all have homework. Part of your homework, because so we've had a tremendous show. We'll talk about that for a minute. And we want to, first of all, we're going to put a link of how you're all going to join us tomorrow live. So we'll be at Point Furman Park in San Pedro for those of you in Southern California. That's number one. Number two, you know, it's really about us doing this together. So I'm going to Adam. Thank you so much. He's actually commenting in the comments for the host, but it was great. That was great. But you're going to have homework. And part of that homework is we're also going to post the link for Jane's video, which was really important to her that she did this. So please watch it. You watch it. It'll take 7 minutes of your time and you can understand what it's about and how it works. We're so honored to be working with her, to spend the day with her tomorrow. But tomorrow, it's really about the children. And that's what's going to make a difference. So with that, we'll have the team. There we go. They're posting right now the video link. That's fantastic. And then make sure it goes out to and then we'll also post where you can meet us tomorrow. So with that, just again, we got 7 minutes to go and then we're going to let you all go. And we're always on time because we appreciate you being with her and that makes a difference. But Dr. Lisa, a couple thoughts.
Well, Michael, when you asked me for one word earlier, I said magical, and that's what I'm still feeling now. This magical ripple effect where we get to choose the frequency of peace. And what do you want me to tell them? So Bongo wants me to remind everyone that he is going to be at Point Furman Park tomorrow to meet all of you and have lots of fun. And when I reflect back on Sara, Yvonne, and Jane, if we add up all their years of service, wow, it's close to 200 years of service. What a great model they are for me, my family, and all of us. So I'm just having such a good day. So much fun today.
It's been great too. The other thing too, I want to let everybody know is we're going to do, so if you ever do your shows, you do sort of final comments, a little wrap. Adam really just wrapped it for us. And then actually the team worked it out. So we're going to let it, when we're done, we're going to play Jane's video and let it take us out and take that out with your learnings and everything. We'll come back for 1 second and just say goodbye. Alicia.
What a wonderful day and celebration of peace. I think we heard it in so many ways. Peace is a feeling that's within peace.
All right, let's move right to Karen.
I just loved when Adam talked about how the stories and the poetry, the art can bypass those barriers in the brain to connect to the heart and to tap into the emotions. And when he said that words are just the wrapping paper for the emotions, I was like, oh my goodness, that was just so profound. And both of those concepts, I think, were so beautiful. I felt so moved as he read, Heaven is Here. It was a beautiful poem.
Oh, it was just amazing. All right, Prisa.
So, hey y'all, good to be here. A few things that I want to take away that I am deeply taking away from today. One is that it is safe to be at peace. It is safe to experience peace within ourselves, and that peace around the world does really truly start within ourselves. And there's a lot of things going on, and I think the reminder of that it's safe to feel that peace within ourselves is very much needed. And that the second part is that we are all needed, and we don't need to understand how, why, when, what it looks like, but just the knowing that we are all needed. Our presence is needed, and just to rest in that knowing and allow that discovery to be what guides you and what allows you to move into the next day, the next hour, the next minute. Allowing that to really be a guidepost, I think, is super super special and really important. So today was really special. I'm so looking forward to tomorrow. Yes, it is International Day of Peace, and this entire broadcast the last several hours has just been so peaceful. It has been so enriching, and it's definitely fueled me. So it's good to be here with you all. Thanks, Michael.
Yeah, no, you're welcome. I really want to thank everybody for being here. Thank you for spending your day with us. Alicia, did you want to say something before we move?
I just want
Since you got
to say
dropped away.
thank you to everyone for tuning in again today to the world of peace. As you see, it's an energy, it's a feeling, and each one of us can contribute to the peace in this world. But the peace, like Adam was sharing, it starts with the peace within, that love within, and then we can pour it out to so many other individuals. Jane Goodall has inspired so many individuals. Sara and Yvonne have inspired so many individuals. Each and every one of you here that are hosts have inspired other individuals. So it gives me a lot of joy to know that there are so many people contributing to a better world at a time when we can choose to not, because peace is intentional. That was a message that Bhavna shared earlier. And, that is something that we at the Los Angeles Tribune are really advocating for a more peaceful world, for sharing motivation, for sharing positive news, for really elevating and uplifting consciousness. So to those of you in our community that are tuning in, we appreciate you being a part of our community, supporting our community, and sharing our community with individuals that are part of your community. And we just encourage you to really take intentional actions to contribute to a better world. That's what we're here at the Los Angeles Tribune. We are about, we highlight exceptional leaders in our Thought Leader edition here at the Los Angeles Tribune. Highly encourage you to take a look at previous editions. You will see that there are so many peacemakers and change makers that we highlight through a lot of our different programming. We have Jane Goodall's Day of Peace tomorrow. We encourage you to tune in virtually. And there's so much more. We have a neuroscience summit coming up, and we're talking about consciousness and science and how we can all contribute in a different way. But we just encourage you to tune in. So to all of you that are watching, thank you so much. Alicia Magnus Lewis here with the Los Angeles Tribune. If you'd like to share how you're contributing to a more peaceful world, also encourage you to email the team. You can email me at alicia@tribunela.com, but we'd love to hear your stories and share your stories with the world. Back to you, Michael.
Awesome. I want to thank everybody for being here today, for myself and Mr. Morock and the whole team. It's been just an amazing day. It's been grounding. It's been moving. Go out and be of service to one person today. Go out and make a difference for one person today. Start at one person every single day, and it's just tremendous. I look forward to seeing all of you there tomorrow. I look forward to seeing you in the future. We have so many events coming up. Keep an eye on Los Angeles Tribune. Yes, we're going to do a calendar. People have asked for that over and over and over because we have a podcasting event. We have the neuroscience event. We're live at Barnes & Noble in October. We have another event in November. We have an event. I mean, it's,
we have
we're
Red
there for
Brown
you.
live in Los Angeles, October 11th
Yes.
to 13th. So there's so much going on. We're contributing.
It is. And it's so anyways, I wanted to thank everybody for being on. Have yourselves a great day. From myself and the team, just again, serve one person today. You've made a difference, and we'll talk to you all very soon. Have a blessed day. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone.
Hello, this is Jane Goodall. I'm a UN messenger of peace, and it honestly isn't easy to think what message I should share this year, because right now the world is so very far from being peaceful. Yet so many millions of people around the world hate war and dream of living in peace. Mothers protest when their husbands or sons are forced to fight, and weep when they return wounded or in body bags. And the young men who survive are often deeply traumatized by the horror of war. And there seems to be war or armed conflict all over the place. The Russia-Ukraine war, the continuing conflict between Israel and Palestine, the wars and armed conflicts in many African countries, the acts of terrorism by religious extremist groups, the oppression of indigenous people and minority groups, the school shootings, the increasing violence on the streets, and of course, racism and discrimination. And then there's our continuing attacks on the natural world, the deforestation, pollution, mining, and industrial agriculture with its use of often poisonous chemical pesticides, herbicides, and artificial fertilizers. The very soil is being killed, and there's a terrible effect on biodiversity. We are in the midst of the sixth great extinction of plant and animal species, this one caused by human acts of violence against nature. And this is made worse by human-induced climate change. We're treating billions of sentient animals with great cruelty as pets in entertainment, in medical research laboratories, and in our so-called factory farms. Just imagine what the world would be like if everyone paid heed to the golden rule, common to every single major religion. Do to others as you would like them to do to you. And those others should include animals and Mother Nature. This year, the UN set the theme, Actions for Peace, a call to action that recognizes our individual and collective responsibility to foster peace. This call to action helps us to work on manageable projects that will collectively make a difference. And this, of course, is the mission of JGI's humanitarian and environmental program, Roots and Shoots, which is now active in almost 70 countries around the world. Members for Peace will be flying giant peace doves made of recycled bedsheets and chicken wire or papier-mâché. They'll be flying them in many countries around the globe while playing the song by Dana Lyons, Circle the World. They'll also be choosing projects to promote peace with the natural world, projects such as clearing trash from rivers, lakes, and oceans, planting trees, or raising money for conservation organizations. Some groups are working with those seeking to end the illegal wildlife trade. Some are volunteering in shelters for abandoned dogs and cats, or sanctuaries for rescued farm animals, or animals rescued from the illegal wildlife trade. Some are walking dogs for sick or elderly, tending their organic gardens, gathering together in their neighborhood to share projects and stories with food and drink and costumes from different cultures, having fun. And in this way, they're learning that more important than the color of skin, language, culture, and religion is the fact that we're all human. We all feel mental and physical pain. We all weep and laugh and love. We can, each and every one of us, do our best to show kindness to and respect for the people, animals, and nature around us. We can try to reconcile differences within our families or with friends or work colleagues. We can reach out a hand in friendship to a newly arrived refugee. We can make ethical choices in what we buy, what we eat, what we wear, which means we can refuse to buy products that have harmed the environment, being cruel to animals, are cheap because of unfair wages. We can support the many wonderful organizations working to free the world from nuclear weapons, find ways to help the leaders of warring factions to try and find peaceful solutions to their differences. I'm trying to bring together young people from Israel and Palestine to work together on projects to make the world a better place for people, animals, and the environment. I was just in Tanzania, and everywhere, Roots and Shoots members, Muslim and Christian alike, are working together on projects of their choice. I want to end this by describing a Roots and Shoots project that seems somehow symbolical. It's about the first group of Roots and Shoots that was formed in DRC, the Democratic Republic of Congo. They decided for their project they wanted to put the forest back on what was once a sacred hill. It was actually not really possible, but their mentor, not wanting to discourage them, found some saplings that a forester friend of his donated. But he also had to go to the head of the group that was there, because this is in the area of conflict in eastern DRC, where all the minerals are. So there's always warring factions there. The head guy said, well, it's a silly project, but I suppose there's no harm in it. But I'm afraid I'll have to send soldiers. Well, imagine, here's this little group of about 15 young people, aged about, 10 to 12, each carrying their little sapling and something to dig with. And it's very hot, and it's much further than they thought. And when they get there, the ground is very hard. With them are 4 big Congolese soldiers with AK-47s slung across their shoulders. And they stand there and watch the children. And after a little while, the youngest, a little girl, starts to cry because the ground is so hard and she can't dig the hole for her tree. And after watching this for about 10 minutes, maybe less, one of the soldiers lays his gun against a tree and goes to help her. And within the next 10 minutes, all the soldiers have laid aside their guns and are working with the children to help restore nature. That's how the world should be. Thank you.